Look, you guys, it's been a while since we've done a Cherry Time episode, but that's Cherry Time for you. You know, it happens when it happens. It doesn't when it doesn't. It's the beauty of the podcast. But today we are back. We are back. And God, let me just tell you, I've been sitting on this episode for a few months, and there's a reason why. And you probably already know because you can see the video, but it's like 3 hours long. For some odd reason, when me and WINDETTE decided to do this podcast, we just lost track of time. You know, I was always debating on, oh, should I go edit it? Should I go clean it up? But it's a podcast, you know? Long form conversations, you know, they go on tangents, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I had a great time chatting with WINDETTE for the first time ever, and that's the beauty of, you know, that's the beauty of just connecting with different people. Sometimes 3 hours passes and you don't even realize. And I hope that happens with you guys while you're listening to this. So welcome back, everybody, and hope you enjoy another episode of the Cherry Time podcast and a new episode very soon as well. Enjoy. So how you doing today?
I mean, good. You like the thumbnail that I've been working on?
Where's it at?
Guess the title. Wait, hang on. Here. Guess the title.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's Treasure Tracker? Are you doing something with Treasure Tracker?
No, it's Mario Galaxy.
Oh, it's Galaxy. Okay.
It's Galaxy. The title I wanted was Mario Galaxy, but it's cursed, and then in brackets, and mostly Toad.
Okay. I was just seeing people talk about Treasure Tracker on 3D yesterday, and it just had me thinking about that game.
Damn. I mean, cool. I didn't even know Treasure Tracker existed. That's fucking sick. I now have a new game that I can look at.
No, it's actually a great game on Switch, the Captain Toad game. It's like a really cool puzzle game. It's kind of like, did you ever play Fez?
Yes! Oh my god, the isometric perspective changing puzzle game. That was fucking sick. Yeah. Nobody talks about Fez.
No, I just bought Fez like a week ago and I started playing it. Like I love Tunic so much, and Tunic kind of led me to Fez. But Treasure Tracker
help me out here with Tunic. I have not gotten past like the very beginning of the game. Like I just worked out that you can go and pray at the statues to level shit up, which is such a funny thing to learn after such a long period of time of playing the game first. And then you're like, oh, fuck, that's a thing. I could have done that forever ago.
With Tunic, like, I mean, you probably know too at the point, like the main thing with Tunic is that damn booklet that you're finding. You know, you really gotta like stare at all those pages you get, and one of those pages tells you can pray at those statues.
Yeah, that's how I figured it out.
Yeah.
Because I was looking through the booklet. So I was like, I may as well just fucking have a look, do some light reading. I prefer audiobooks. Fuck it, I guess I'm reading actual text.
Look, I'm working on a video right now about playing Tunic for a second time because the first experience is so strange and so interesting, and I feel like most people like don't want to go back to it because they don't think that they can like play it again the same way. And
I think you're right. I think a lot of people would assume that.
Yeah.
But I feel like when it comes to Metroidvanias, oftentimes it becomes a comfort game on your second pass.
Yeah, I'm having a great time with it, and it's like really cool, like, you know, what you know, and then like still kind of forgetting some things, but yeah, going back a little bit ago, Treasure Tracker is like a Nintendo version of Fez. You know, it's like a fun, kind of simple. Yeah, like cool 3D world.
You're saying it's a Nintendo version of Fez. It's like a fun, and this is just assuming Fez isn't fun.
Well, no. No.
That's just the light it paints Fez in. It's just like the most generic, boring puzzle game. Fez is fucking awesome.
I'm loving Fez so far, but Fez, like, I know it just sucks for me knowing that there's like this deeper thing going on that I haven't quite figured out yet with it, like. Knowing that it's one of those secretive games, you know?
That doesn't excite you? Knowing that it's a secret but not knowing what it is?
No, it does. No, that's why I love Fez so much. But I'm saying like Nintendo is such a like the Nintendo one is such a simple version. Like it's not there to like rack your brain. You know, it's not gonna hurt your brain. And I know that Fez is like the start of those Metroidvanias, basically. Like
Yep. I can feel that. I vibe with that.
But welcome to the Cherry Time podcast, Windette. How you doing? Or how's it going today?
I mean, it's good. I was woken up by my roommate's cat this morning because roommate is gone and I need to go feed the cat. So cat paddled into my room, stood directly next to my head on my bed and meowed very loudly
Yes.
until I got up and then fed the guy. And now he's just chilling in my roommate's room again,
That's
as if nothing happened.
that's typical cat behavior right there.
Typical cat behavior. It was good. And I genuinely prefer it to an alarm clock, especially considering that I can ignore the cat. And then the cat will go, okay, fine, I'm not going to get fed this hour. And then they'll come back at a different hour, unlike an alarm clock where you just tell it to fuck off and then it either snoozes for 5 minutes. But you can never snooze an alarm clock for like an hour. You have to like wake up and reset it, etc. No, the cat is the perfect alarm clock because it'll fuck off for an hour and then come back because it's still hungry.
Yeah, some cats. My old cat would not fuck off for an hour. That's for sure. My cat would just stay right there.
Oh no.
But so it's really funny. And this is something I typically do towards the end of the podcast, but I had to mention it early. But I always, I have like a small Discord, right? It's like just a small amount of people. It's pretty close. And I always ask them before I do a Cherry Time interview, like, "Hey, I'm about to interview this person, and anyone got any questions they want me to ask?" Because I'll do a little Discord section.
Oh, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love crowdsourcing questions. It's
Yeah.
so clever.
And so I always like doing that. I always do a little Discord section. And look, when I said I'm interviewing Windette, the Discord blew up. They were probably like more excited for you than any name I've mentioned so far.
That's so flattering, and they're so dumb for that.
Well, just wait, because when it came to the question parts, I didn't get a single question I could ask you. Everyone was just like, "Why did he attack me with his Dead Cells video? Why is he offending me?"
You can totally ask me all these. I have answers to every single one.
Well,
I have answers to every single fucking one of these. We can quickfire rip through them if you've got like 2 of them that you want to go for, maybe even 3.
Well,
and if you tell me who asked the question, I'm gonna fucking rip into them. I got this shit covered.
All right, let me get a second. Let me pull it back up because I didn't even screenshot them because I didn't think they were worth it. But
they're always worth it. So the people need their answers.
All right, so no, I have one serious one before we get to that.
Okay.
Rabid Sloth asked, "How did you come up with your name?"
Ha! Oh, I actually love this question. It is a whole story. There's this whole saga behind it.
Hell yeah.
Oh, fuck. Did you ever go through that stage on Steam where you're constantly changing your username because either other people have already got your username when you're playing like TF2 or another online game, or people can't pronounce it correctly, or it just doesn't feel right, or it's just not unique, or you're just sick of it? I was one of those people, and I kept having to change my name over and over again.
Okay.
And I just got pissed off not having an original name that was easy to read, fit the kind of vibe that I wanted, and wasn't just fucking shit. Like at one point I had like a unique, easy to read and like simple name, which was just TNOS, Tinos. And everybody read it correctly. And I was like, what the fuck does this mean? I had no answers, so I got pissed off and just sat for like 2 weeks in a notebook writing out different things that I liked, and it would be like ice and storms and like hail and wind and lightning, and I ended up coming up on breeze, and I thought the idea of something being breezy, easy breezy, ironically, the whole concept was that it was supposed to be chill and kind of easy going, go with the flow. I think I'm a bit like that in person, definitely not online. I am not go with the flow whatsoever. But in person, I'm pretty like that. And I went, okay, I can't have Breeze, because everybody else will have that nickname. It'll be fucking everywhere. And lo and behold, it totally is. But my mom is the main origin story for WINDETTE, because having traveled across the world a whole bunch of times, she picked up and totally bastardized the French language. Completely butchered it in every way, shape, or form. And in French, to add "et" to the end of something either makes it small or feminine, but she would use it in the term to mean small. And she would totally bastardize it in the way that I'm just going to have a bijou bath-ette, which in French means a small bath. Like, it makes no fucking sense. But that's what she'd say. And she'd, I'm just going to have a bijou napette. A little nap, a little small nap. And I was like, fuck it. If I'm a breeze, then I'm a bijou windette. It's a small wind.
No, I like it.
That's what a breeze is. And that's what I got. That's how I got it. I was like, I want to be a windette. That's it.
Just you like starting with breeze and wanting to go for like something chill and like cool, like just thinking about Windette right after that. I'm like, oh, Windette is perfect. Like, yeah, Windette is interesting. And so it's also funny right here. I'm seeing that Rabid Sloth said right after that, because Windette sounds like a cleaning company.
Fuck off. I'm not Windex. That has been my nickname for like 5 years running. Come on. No, I think that's really funny. I love that I've never had my nickname on Discord, in my Discord server, as Windette. It has always been something else. I'm currently Wooble. I've had Windex, I've had Wimbledon, Wobbuffet, Womble. It's anything beginning with a W and probably ending in an E. Although Wimbledon doesn't end with a D, so I've got no excuses for that one.
Okay, so we have Max 20111 here. He said, "Why does he insult us instead of making normal how-tos?"
Okay, Max. I think the simplest way of putting this, much like your name suggests, because you are shit at video games to the max, you guys will not get the most basic pieces of information drilled into your fucking skulls unless I do it for you. And apparently people listen when I get really fucking mad at them for not doing the basic shit. Like, stop splitting your scrolls evenly on dead cells. Fuck's sake, you go all in on one color, and that's all you need. The damage is important, not health. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, and then that leads into the next one. Jacob said, "Ask Windette why he called me out so much in his Dead Cells video."
Yeah. Okay, Jacob, in your case specifically, it's because you kept using the fucking YOLO mutation. Take that off. Never ever touch that mutation. It just gives you an extra life. Why would you need an extra life if you could avoid death in the fucking first place?
Oh, that's funny. I love how you say in your situation specifically.
Yeah, I know this guy. I know Jacob. I know too many Jacobs.
Oh man, that is great. That is great. All right, we'll leave the Discord alone for now. That was phenomenal.
Thank you, Discord.
Oh. So, well, I was also gonna ask you what you've been working on lately, but I guess you're working on this Mario Galaxy video, right?
I just uploaded that yesterday to the wrong channel and then had to delete all of my Discord notifications saying that it was out and online and then re-upload it, which it's a 48-minute video or whatever. So that took so long to re-upload to the correct fucking channel. I'm molding. But once I finished that, now that I've finished that, I'm having to bounce between projects, which is a nightmare, and I suck at it because I don't have ADHD, so being able to hop from one project to the next based on where my sort of enthusiasm is sitting doesn't work. I can only work on one thing, and so I'm gonna struggle because I have the final Hollow Knight video that I want to make for the actual main Windette channel. I have the final Hollow Knight video.
Damn.
All recorded. I have all the footage needed. There is 25 gigabytes worth of footage in 1 minute clips. Wow. I don't think you realize how many clips that is. It's a metric problem amount.
Yeah.
Is what it is. But I haven't written a lick of script. So I'm going to tackle it, I think, one chapter at a time. And I think when I finish with one chapter, I'm then going to step the fuck back and do some second channel stuff, some stream highlight things, because those are easy and simple, and I'm able to work on those whilst I'm doing all my streaming and whatever else real life stuff like volleyball that I've been playing way too much of. And then once I've made a second channel video and I feel like I've got content out again, I can then work on chapter 2. And I think it's going to be over an hour long, the whole video. It's it's such a mammoth project that I've been putting it off for over 2 months, which sucks. I've had all the footage recorded since before Christmas. I just can't I'm so scared of that fucking timeline. I don't want to go near it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. It's sad. He just brought me down with the last Hollow Knight video. That seems big. It seems like we're getting to the end of an era
End of
here
an era.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah, end of an era. But I'm hoping to get it done and out before Silksong gets here.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like I need it to be the end of an era. And I feel like I covered everything I wanted to in Hollow Knight. Like
Yeah.
the whole premise of the series was get people into the game so that they can figure out how to learn to play the game by themselves. And then I realized actually 90% of my audience has already beaten the game. They just like being insulted.
Yeah. No, that's
so now
true.
I got to make a video built for that.
That's definitely true. Look, I remember my first playthrough in Hollow Knight. I was pretty late to it, and I remember being halfway through it and seeing one of your videos and being like, this isn't helping me right now, and then like going to a Relia video for like a specific boss fight. But I remember being like that, and then it's like once you beat Hollow Knight, your videos kind of like they start to make a little bit more sense. You're like, okay, yeah, haha, you suck.
It's such a bizarre thing to think my target audience was one thing, people who hadn't finished the game, who had picked it up and then dropped it within the first 2 minutes because it's just too hard. And then to find out that my actual audience is the people who don't need the guide, who don't give a damn about the guide, but they just want to relive the nostalgia of having somebody that knows the game inside and out and can then bully them for making the same mistakes everyone does, myself included.
Yeah.
And just to feel, so much more a part of a video that was technically, for all intents and purposes, not personalized to them at all. But everyone goes through the same thing. Everyone fucking dies in Deep Nest endlessly, and it sucks.
Yeah, but I feel like your first main, like the Hollow Knight explaining insults one, like I do think that is a great how-to guide that's just in a different structure than most guides of like, you had like the 3 goals that you wanted people to like walk away from that video from, that just kind of like is a good starting point in Hollow Knight.
So impressed you remembered that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. No,
it's so bizarre having all of my scripts memorized because I can tell you the exact tonality, words of that exact segment of that part of the script that you're referencing. So it's really cool being able to like hear you talk about that and then see all of it pop up into my head.
Well, let's go back even further because there's a video that I'd never seen, and it isn't Hollow Knight related exactly. There's some clips for sure, but I never saw.
Lost?
What's up?
Is it Get Lost?
No, it's the WINDETTE lore video, which I think is
it's
a phenomenal essay. You know what I mean? That like, I clicked on it the other day thinking like, oh, I might get like some WINDETTE lore, but I'm like, this is just a great essay on like how people play video games, like, and I thought it was
definitely could have structured that video better because I was basically just trying to talk about nothing the whole time.
No, it's a great video, yeah, and I love it, and it is kind of like, it is cool because it is like WINDETTE lore and kind of stuff that I'm like more interested in just knowing, like I love hearing people's experiences with games, like where they start, like the first couple games they play, what like the first couple ones that like mean something to them, and then like
history.
Yeah, where they are now, like what they're actually like real passionate about it now, because I'm the same, like Crash Bandicoot is one of my first early games. Like,
yes.
And then say, I like how you brought up like a few, like, there's another game I have written down here that's like, it's like 10, 15 years ago it was huge and I still love it, but it was like, but Borderlands. I saw you played Borderlands 2 a lot.
I have 1,000 hours in Borderlands 2.
Yeah. And I just love, I
so love that game.
I love the history of games and how they kind of change and how now we're in like this indie, this indie world. I feel like that's going to be huge, even bigger.
I think you're so right that we're in an indie world. I have so little shits to give about anything that comes out of a AAA title, but probably as a learned behavior.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo titles are the only games that I've ever played that are from a AAA studio.
Yeah.
That's it.
They still kind of, I feel like, not indie, but they kind of like take, like, all right, to me the real problem with games is that people just try to jump too far ahead. So now it's cool seeing people like take old concepts and like just modernize them. You know, like that's the beauty of Hollow Knight in a sense too, and like Celeste and like, you know, it's like it feels like older style games, but it's like feels like they're in today's world, you know, and I
Yeah,
feel
what if
like
you took a totally retro, pixelated vibe and then made it one of the tightest, most explorative and interesting platformers of all time?
yeah, I feel like what like the well, like I mean the Super Nintendo to N64 was crazy anyway, you know, like going from 2D to 3D, and then it was like the graphical jump into like Call of Duty style games. It just completely cut off like all these cool concepts people were learning with like 3D platformers and 2D stuff even. But that's a whole nother rant. I'm sorry. I'll get distracted if I
No,
talk too long.
I think you're totally right. I think you're on the money.
Yeah.
I think in the pursuit of realism with specifically graphics, you lose a lot of character.
Yeah.
People like games had styles, really noticeable, immediate, like as soon as it flashed in front of you, you knew what game it was because it was so unbelievably unique.
Yeah.
And people are starting to, game developers in particular, they're starting to move towards becoming more stylized and less realistic. And those games are more successful
Yeah.
because they have, well, they've got an identity, for fuck's sake. Like, nobody plays games to still be in real life. You can go outside for that.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about like there's this I guess like a concept I've been thinking about. I'm like, yeah, like people, you know, people just try to make worlds feel so real now, but like they don't care about making them feel lived in, you know? And that's like, you know, when you hear about a good game, it's like people just talk about how like the world feels like it's there without you, you know, and or it's still existing. And I'm like, that's kind of what makes like a good game world, which a lot of the triple A's.
I yoinked that exact line for my sheepy video. Oh,
Really?
I love that video so much. Yeah, this world exists without you.
Yeah.
I just love that concept so much. Although I feel like that's less of a like a visual style thing,
Yeah, no, you're
and
right.
it's a world building choice, and I feel like you can have that in any game. Like
Yeah.
the Last of Us looks phenomenal, and it sort of takes place in a very leaning towards realism style. Like it is not stylized in a way like Banjo and Kazooie is, or Celeste is, or Hollow Knight is. It's very much leaning towards realism, like Dying Light, etc. They have the sort of exact same look, but The Last of Us is a lived-in world. It
Yeah.
already exists. It predates the characters that you are playing when you start playing it. And it's so fucking cool. And I love the AAA studios have started doing that. And, well, rather have been doing it for like the past 5 years.
Yeah.
It's just about getting that I don't know, maybe I'm a stickler for visuals, but getting that visual identity back into the spotlight
Yeah,
would be
definitely.
super cool to see, especially from larger studios. I think that would be really cool to see because I'm so far not massively interested in anything aside from like I don't know Hades 2, which I still haven't played until it releases fully. I'm not
Yeah.
even touching that game. I'm somehow still spoiler free from
Yeah, I've
Hades
never
2.
even
I don't
played
know how
Hades
I've
1.
managed that, dude.
I bought it on Xbox.
Dude.
I have like a physical, but I just never have popped it
Oh
in.
my days. Okay, look, here's what's gonna happen. Next Sunday or whenever you're free next and not chilling out with your girlfriend, I'm playing Tunic and you're holding my hand through it, and you're playing Hades and I'm holding your hand through it.
All right, I got you.
That's what's happening. That is
I got you.
100%. I'm writing this fucking down like
You
right
know, I
now
want
so
a
that
new
this
stream game. I
happens.
haven't streamed in a while, so I'll
Yeah,
I'll pop on and play some Hades.
yeah.
Hell yeah. Um, so if could you name a top 5 games right now of yours? Like it doesn't have to be any order, but like
Fuck.
if you could pick like 5 games, even if it's more like recent, like
You know what? I think I can actually.
and not
I
Hollow
genuinely
Knight. I'm
think I
sorry, you
can.
can't name Hollow Knight.
I wasn't actually going to.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna pick the games that for me are completely timeless. The games that I can just keep endlessly coming back to. I don't think I can endlessly keep coming back to Hollow Knight. I can't. It's just not one of those things. But of all games, and one of them I'm really sad that I can't play it just because of the hardware limitations, and I can't emulate it properly either. Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time.
What is that?
It's a
What
it's
is
a
that on?
PlayStation 3 game. Ratchet and
Okay.
Clank is PlayStation exclusive. They had a whole bunch of PlayStation 2 games, which I'm actually really excited to play, like Ratchet Gladiator and Ratchet and Clank 3. Did you ever hear about Jack and Daxter?
Yeah, I know Jack and Daxter.
Exact same vibe, way more guns.
Yeah, I did play the newest Ratchet and Clank. I played
Right,
the
right.
brand new one that was PS5.
Okay. Yeah,
It's the only one.
So the Ratchet are you talking about like the remake of Ratchet and Clank 1?
No, it's like a Rift Apart or something. It was like
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's a yeah, okay. Yeah. Um in my personal headcanon, the game series ended on the title A Crack in Time.
Okay.
And of all the Ratchet and Clank games, it's the first one that begins where Ratchet and Clank are nowhere near each other. Neither knows where each other one is. They're both at totally different physical spaces in the universe, and they're both living parallel storylines as you play through the game. The gameplay is solid as always, but the story and setting of the fact that it's just them slowly trying to get to each other through endless predicaments that makes it such a good story. And they had the opportunity to end the series there, but they cash grabbed and they kept making more. But in my head, the headcanon is it ended on Crack in Time, and I just love it. It's such a powerful game.
Does
And
it
such
have
a
like
powerful story?
Does it have like a great storybook ending for them?
It does. It's got a really satisfying ending. The
Awesome.
writing is actually good. It's very sort of like Borderlands-esque, but
Yeah.
it was Borderlands done right. It wasn't overly cringy, and the jokes actually landed, which is what made it so good. So the writing was good, and they kept it good throughout the entirety of the series up until and including Crack in Time. So I'm gonna put Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time of like top games of all time that just sits at like my tippity top. That's on there. I I think I want to put. I feel like it's gonna sound strange, but a part of me wants to say that like one of the best games that I've ever played is The Binding of Isaac.
I never played that.
It defined the roguelike genre. Totally defined it. You do not get stronger as you play the game more, like you would in Hades or you would in Risk of Rain 2, where there are just unlocks and characters that are blatantly stronger than what you start with. There are like very few instances of this happening in Isaac, because it's just got so many fucking items in it, and you can't choose which items show up and which ones don't, that you are forced to experience a totally different run every single time you play the game. And there's no way around it. You are completely forced to experience the game differently every time. And I think that that's so good. It, as a Flash game, totally defined the entirety of my like year 10 high school experience, which is a pretty formative set of years in my life, I feel like.
Wait, it was a Flash game?
It was a Flash game originally.
Wow.
Made by one guy, and it was supposed to fail. The game was supposed to go nowhere. But it actually did go somewhere. And it went somewhere like really, really fast.
So it's like like fairly old or older than like what year did it come out in?
Oh, hang on, holy shit. When did The Binding of Isaac first come out? Release date. This game 2011.
Wow. Yeah, wow.
That game is 14 years old.
I would say yeah, that's a to early game. You know, like indie games really weren't like that much of a thing back then. You know, they were just kind of more
No,
starting then. That's like the.
you're so right. Indie games were not a thing back then.
I mean, I guess it was just like flash games that were like the genre of indie games and stuff. Just website games like that.
Yeah, they kind of were.
You ever play? There was one flash game that I got into, Fancy Pants Adventures. Have you ever heard of that?
I knew you were gonna say that. That's so funny. I was picturing that in my head. I was like, "There's no fucking way."
That was
I was
a
gonna
good
say
game.
Captain Underpants, which is funny because it's wrong. What I was gonna say, I had Fancy Pants in my head, and I was gonna say Captain Underpants.
That
which I
was a
find is
good
really
game.
funny.
You know, it's funny because I think you were talking
It's a
about
good
in the
series.
WINDETTE lore video, like talking about like completing games for the first time and and I think Fancy Pants Adventures might have been one of the first games I ever like 100% completed.
Damn, yeah, my first 100% completion was it's got to be New Super Mario Bros.
Yeah,
with-
it was the Wii one. Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say Binding of Isaac is up there within the top 5. I don't think I can put any of these in like number 1 place or number 2
Yeah.
place or anything like that.
Yeah, no order.
I'm as a third game to add here, Rumble,
Rumble.
the virtual reality earthbending.
Yeah, I don't
It-
have. I've never done any
unlike
VR.
anything I've ever played.
Wow.
This game is completely genre defining.
That's that
is a
video you did recently, right?
Yeah, it is a completely untapped part of virtual reality. It is a 1v1 in like a ring earthbending battle between
Yeah.
you and somebody else. There's no buttons. You physically have to do every pose. Like you need to, take your hands low down by your waist and raise them up above your head to like create a wall. And then you have to physically punch the wall to launch it at the other person. And they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. I have 500 hours in VR exclusively in that game.
Wow.
I have no other VR games. I just have Rumble. I bought a Quest 3 just for Rumble, and I do not regret it whatsoever. I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I really do want to get one at one point. My girlfriend really wants to play the Batman game.
Oh.
On that, so I want to get it. So maybe I'll check out Rumble if I get it.
Honestly, yeah, far out. If you haven't, it's dated because they made an update that gives everybody cosmetics. But I would highly recommend either mine or Shoeless's video on Rumble. He's the guy that got me into it. He created a video basically talking about this total underdog move within Rumble called Flick, which allowed you to basically use telekinesis on rocks. And people were like, yeah, but that's not useful because it's earthbending and you can just like launch rocks at people and hit them in the head. But if you're using telekinesis, then you have to be close and you have to like swing it like it's a flail and hit them. So it's just kind of pointless. And he was like, fuck you, I'm going to learn to fly in earthbending using this telekinesis. Like, what if you jumped and then used the structure that you're like telekinetically holding and you raised yourself up with it? And then created a totally aerial, brand new style of gameplay. And as a total underdog story, absolute cinema.
Wow.
Absolute cinema.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it so much. I've watched it 20 times consecutively. I love that video. It's just a movie. It's a fucking movie. All right, I'm gonna, because you said top 5, so
Yeah.
there are
Two
two
more.
more that I can add to this list. Fuck. Sheepy,
Sheepy.
a short adventure.
Wait, okay, a short adventure. Okay, what is that?
300 megabytes, free, indie game. You install it on Steam, you play it. It takes less than an hour to complete the whole damn thing, and it is a fucking masterpiece. You do not need a game, specifically like an indie game, to be big for it to be amazing. And this totally nailed it. It's the latest video I think I made on my main channel, and I love it to death.
Everything
love
you
it to
said
death.
pretty much just describes a short hike to me. Now, is it similar
Yes!
to that? Okay.
It's okay. Strangely enough, I think A Short Hike has more content in it than Sheepy.
Wow, this looks cool.
But
I mean, just the art of this looks cool. I don't see what the game looks like.
I think Sheepy does feelings and music better than Short Hike does.
Okay. Wow.
Because at the end of Sheepy, there are several moments in Sheepy where I had full head to toe goosebumps just experiencing the game as it was happening, both from excitement and fear, which is crazy in a game that only lasts an hour. Like, normally it requires a lot more time spent creating things like tension. And I cry at the end of it almost every single time just because the soundtrack is fucking phenomenal. It's so good.
Wow, this looks great.
And God, I want to cheat and say 2 more games.
No. Oh, you can say 2
I'm
more.
not
You could put
allowed.
a what do they call it? Like a honorary mention.
Dude, Outer Wilds.
Oh my god. I started that game recently and it didn't click with me yet.
No,
I feel so bad.
It's not going. No, do not feel bad. It is not going to click. It is not. The game is a struggle, and you often need a co-pilot who knows what's sort of going on in most instances, so that when you're in an area like, man, am I supposed to go this way? Am I not supposed to go this way? And it's always going to happen like this, where you are inches away from a diamond mine, and you start second guessing yourself whether you're doing things right, and you turn back. You need a co-pilot to just say, no, trust yourself. Jump into that black hole. Do it. And you go, I'm scared of that. I'm freaking out. I don't understand. They go, do it. Like, you need a co-pilot for it. Absolutely. And when you finish the game, I don't think you can replay it.
Really? See, I wanna.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a series I want to explore. Maybe after this Tunic thing is like all these games that I want to go through them a second time. So that I want to see if there's anything interesting in there. But that's interesting that you say that.
Unless you forget near everything about Outer Wilds, and I'm pretty close to having forgotten almost everything. But it will take about a year and a bit to forget everything if you watch no videos on it and consume no content for it. And the last game, purely because of its innovation and because it made me sob for a good half an hour after it finished, was Before Your Eyes.
Before Your Eyes. Never heard of that
Every time you blink, time skips forward, and you get to experience the life of a young kid.
I've heard of that, yeah.
And it is heart-wrenching.
Wow.
It is the most emotionally distressing video game that I've played.
Wait, so this works on console?
Yeah.
How does it?
Yeah, if you've got a webcam, you can get it to work. Otherwise, you can just push a button to blink. But you really do want a webcam. You really, really do.
I was gonna say, I gotta admit, I'm not a PC player. I don't have a PC yet, and I need one. So Sheepy is a game I can't even play, and now I'm kind of a little sad because it looks amazing. But but I'm gonna be getting a PC soon, and maybe I'll wait to play this on that too. Wow, yeah. Look, I'm excited. Got a few new games now.
Yeah, I mean, I will always have games to like throw at people that are just good games. Like, fuck, go play Worldless.
Worldless?
God damn, that game's on console. It's just a really fucking solid short Metroidvania. You can beat the whole game in 10 hours. You just sit there and no-life it in one session, and you will have the whole thing finished, and you will not feel bad after you're done with it. Like, it's just good. It's just fucking good.
Hell yeah.
Yep. It's my life, dude. Just finding games that other people wouldn't give a second chance to and just going for it. I covered one called Rubinite on my second channel recently, which I thought was really funny. Because I did not expect it to get like 120,000 views for a game that literally hasn't released yet and has no following, which is just wild because it means the concept for the game is interesting enough to get people's attention, which is fucking crazy to me.
You know.
I actually have some topics that we could talk about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I have a little. What has this got? It's got 6 different random topics to chat about. If you're ever looking for random things to chat about during the podcast time.
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. Well, I mean, they're all YouTube based stuff.
Okay.
So, like, talking about me is like fun and a total narcissist journey, which I love. But I can't do it forever.
Honestly, I have sections of mine, and my next group is just all YouTube questions, and then we move on to Hollow Knight and Silksong. So that's
damn.
That's
okay.
a great.
Well, hang on. Let's see what YouTube questions you've got then, because let's cross reference. I've got like thumbnail and title theory.
Okay.
That's like my first thing here. Do you have anything?
Mine's a little bit more, based on you and stuff. So it's a little bit still interview-esque, but it's like just, I would guess I was wondering about what like the start of YouTube was like for you.
Whoa. Okay. I'm 12. That's the start of YouTube for me. I'm 12 years old, Wimby. Before my name is Wimby, I went by the name Reflex because I thought it was cool. And I thought I had cool reflexes. I didn't at all. I was the most average kid you've ever fucking met. And I would make Minecraft tutorials for Redstone. Fucking loved that shit, man. That was my jam for like the whole.
What's Redstone?
I would like. Huh?
What's Redstone? I've never played Minecraft, so if it's Minecraft related, I'm sorry. I don't.
You fucking what?
Yeah. My Discord hates me.
The largest indie game in history.
My Discord hates me for it. They always want me to play Minecraft.
It's bigger than Scrabble.
I played Scrabble.
This is bigger than that. You've never played.
No.
Are you alive? Are you a human? Are you? Is this even real? Am I talking to an AI?
I'm not AI.
This is generative AI that I'm speaking to. There is no fucking way that there is a human on Earth, a male gamer that has not played fucking Minecraft.
AI couldn't make this up. Wow, I love being insulted by WINDETTE. It's nice.
I'm in disbelief. Bro, holy shit. Okay. Hyperspeed rundown, wiring. Like, coding and wiring exists in Minecraft in its absolute base form. Like, a PC is, and like an Xbox and all this other shit, is just an endless series of is it on or is it off and in what order. That's everything that is technology. Every piece of technology, every circuit board, everything that makes your microwave run to making like the most advanced security systems in the entire world is built off, is this thing on or is it off? And you just have millions of those going off constantly to make lots of different things happen all at once. And Minecraft Redstone has the capacity to do that. It's just like a wire and you can send electricity through it or not. And it's called redstone. It's just like an ore that you could mine in the game, but you can make like contraptions and things out of this. It was just like the most fundamental basics of wiring possible. Like, is this on or is it off? And you can move blocks with pistons that like push and pull blocks and things around like that. So I used to make like secret entrances. Like you'd place a torch down somewhere, and the block would recognize that you've placed a torch on it, would update the circuit, and then this hole in a wall would generate sort of in front of you that you could then walk through into like your secret base. And I would love those. I would just make them back and forth. But that was like 12-year-old me started with Minecraft, and then I would make montages on YouTube from all the different shooters that I'd play with my friends, like Counter-Strike or Team Fortress 2 or Overwatch, because I'd just be relentlessly clipping things with my friends if there was ever a moment that was funny or I thought was really cool. And then I'd time all of the clips to the music that I had in the background. So they would only ever go for like 3 minutes, these videos, because the song only lasted 3 minutes. But none of these went anywhere. They would get like 30 views. I'd be, losing my mind because I had 50 subscribers at one point. And that was crazy. That was insane. I was like, that's like 2 classrooms of kids in school. Fuck. I have 2 full classrooms subscribed to me. That's wild. And then I wrote a script for the first time It was on a video for a game called Hymno, which is just a super relaxing game that has no point. The game has nowhere to go, there's no objectives, there's no sense of progression, there's nothing. It's just relaxing. The whole thing. And it was made by a developer purely so that he had an excuse to keep making games and to relax from the other games that he'd be making that would be stressing him out. And I wrote a script talking about how I also didn't understand this game, and yet it was surprisingly refreshing in order to play. And that video went nowhere. But then I wrote another script because I found I really enjoyed writing scripts, and turns out I was relatively good at writing and reading them out at the same time, with the same level of enthusiasm that I normally have whenever I'm speaking. And this time I wrote it for Risk of Rain 2, the Risk of Rain experience. And that video also went nowhere until eventually Risk of Rain 2 had its full release. And suddenly, flocks of people were Googling and looking up Risk of Rain 2 stuff. And my video was somehow, by chance, still relevant. Despite the game going through all of its updates, the things that I were talking about were just general enough that it was still relevant. And then suddenly, bam, 200,000... Wait, no, not 200,000. 20,000. A colossal 20,000 views happened on that video. And I went from 50 subscribers to 1,000. And that was the most crazy week of my life. And then I spent a really long time trying to figure out how the hell I could replicate that. So I started making more Risk of Rain videos. And then I got laid off on my job that I had because of COVID. So I sort of went all in on the whole YouTube thing. And then I made the Hollow Knight videos. And they didn't go anywhere. And I made 3 of them. And they absolutely didn't go anywhere until someone commented on the first one, whose name was Jacob, by the way. Shout outs to the Jacobs community that were asking silly questions about Dead Cells, Lamau. Who said, dude, your videos are great, but your thumbnails and titles suck. Rename the video to this. And he asked me to rename my Hollow Knight video An Extremely Disrespectful Guide to Hollow Knight. I kept the thumbnail, because the original title for the video was Get Good. And it had the thumbnail, You Suck, on it.
And this is the Hollow Knight Explaining Insults video?
Yeah.
It's the first. Okay.
Yep. So he told me to rename it to An Extremely Disrespectful Guide to Hollow Knight. And so I renamed all of the Hollow Knight series videos that I had up to that time, which was Green Path and the Fungal Wastes. And so I did. I renamed them both to An Extremely Disrespectful Guide to Fungal Wastes, or Extremely Disrespectful Guide to Green Path. And made one more video, which I believe was to the City of Tears. And suddenly, shitloads of traction.
So did they all start kind of?
Yes, and I think that's the reason things popped off. In a very non-viral way. It sounds really strange to say that it's non-viral, but I feel like I've never gone viral. It's always been a really gradual, slow climb. It was definitely accelerated with the Hollow Knight stuff because people were clicking on the first video because it was much better titled and they liked it and they wanted to watch more of that and found out that there were another 2 videos that had exactly the same vibe, also for Hollow Knight, and could watch those and click it. Suddenly they had a series that they wanted to watch. And I had a series that I was happy and comfy making. So I ramped up the amount of engagement that I got online to an exponential degree. And I ended up getting, I think, 3,000 views on each of those videos, and then 10,000 views on each of those videos. And then my initial Hollow Knight, but explained in insults, I decided I needed to give it that explained in insults tag. It took me, I think, 5 minutes sitting there trying to figure out what I could call the series. And I landed on explained in insults. And it hit 100,000 views. And that took me from 1,000 subscribers to 20,000 subscribers. Wow. Which was enough entirely to make me self-sufficient. That's all it took. 20,000. That was the number I needed to reach so that I could be entirely self-sufficient through content creation. No streaming, nothing like that, no alternative income sources. I'm really low maintenance. I do not have an expensive place that I live. I don't have a car that I gotta take care of. I don't have expensive hobbies. I just play video games, and most of the time, I don't even buy video games unless they're 90% off on Steam sales. So it was enough to completely support me.
Wow.
And I've been doing YouTube ever since then.
Wow. That's amazing. It's amazing hearing about like just 20K being like what you need and you're good and you're happy with that. That's great.
I was so surprised. I was so unbelievably surprised that was what it took. I thought it was such a pipe dream. I thought minimum you needed 100,000 people subscribed to you in order to become independent on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was convinced that was the case until I set up the monetization scheme and went, hang on, I can live off this. But, should preface, that whole story was speedran because the WINDETTE channel was created 6 years prior to me making any of those scripted videos.
Wow.
It took me 7 years in the timeline to make a single video that went anywhere.
And so how
7
often,
years of making videos.
How often do you think you were uploading in those like 7 years? Like,
I have now got, if you include all of the unlisted content on my main channel, not including my second channel, not including stream highlights, and not including the out of context clips channel, over 250 uploads.
okay.
So over 7 years, that's not an insane amount, but it's a lot.
Yeah, especially for still learning and stuff.
Yeah. There's just a lot of content. And there's a lot that I'm really proud of.
Okay, yeah, that's a question I usually ask, and I didn't even write it down. But what is there a video on your channel that is like something you're super proud of that may not have gotten that much love? Like, do you have like a personal favorite on your channel, or maybe it did get a lot of love? But like, what is your personal favorite video you've done? You think?
There's two. I love the Rumble video because it's on a game that is so niche and has such a small community, and even though it was explained in insults, it has by far the highest second most engagement of all of my videos based on the number of views. So normally, a YouTube video, 10% of the views become likes, 10% of the likes become comments. That's the pipeline. So 1% of the people that watch your videos are likely to comment on it. And when you make a video that quintuples that, it's a really good feeling. Because that means you reached a lot of people. Like a lot. And that's a big deal. Like I can make a video on... Fuck, what have I got here? I have a Risk of Rain 2 video here with 500,000 views. And it's got 1,000 comments. And... realistically speaking, it should be 5,000 comments if that pipeline makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It should be like 10% and then 10%. But it turns out when you enter these like super viral numbers, they don't reach the same level of engagement. They reach lots of people, but the engagement is nowhere near the same. So when I have a video with like 100,000 views and 1,001 comments, that's a 10%. That is 10 times the number of people that are engaged and interested and responding. Which is wild.
Yeah.
It's totally, totally wild and blows my mind. So I'm really proud of the Rumble video so much. It's created more close friends and the biggest sense of community that I've ever had in a video.
Wow.
And in terms of tone, I've not made a better video that didn't have me yelling at any point than the Sheepy video, which is the latest video I released on my channel. It is
Oh,
I
it's the
was
game
so
you
proud of
can't
it.
pay for, but wish you could. Okay, I didn't even realize this
Yes.
is the Sheepy
Yeah.
video.
This is
Now
the
I
Sheepy
see,
video.
Now I
It
see
is.
Sheepy pointing the gun.
Yeah. I
All right, I'm gonna watch that as soon as we're done here.
I desperately wanted to make the video on the game without changing any of the music that is already within the game. And unfortunately, all of the music within Sheepy is copyright because it was made by a music developer. The game itself was developed by a music creator. So they have copyright on all of their songs. And I went, fuck it, I'm uploading this video and I'm going to make nothing off it. I don't care. I don't care that I'm not going to make a cent off it because it's such a good game and I want to show it off. And I had not one, not two, but three of the developers of the game, one of them being the creator itself, comment on the video saying, holy shit, we love this stuff. And the creator themselves going, by the way, I'm rescinding all of the copyright claims on this video.
Oh wow. See?
I don't care that you've used all of this music that I've poured my heart and soul into because you poured your heart and soul into this video. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's so fucking cool. So yeah, those two right now, I think, both in terms of community and in terms of my own video editing and creative sort of prowess, I think the Earthbending in VR and the game you can't pay for but wish you could, both are definitely. I'm very, very proud of them. I'm definitely also proud of a lot of my other videos. I think the Flower Quest explained in insults, the true Flower Quest but explained in insults, being a Groundhog's Day reference, I thought that was really creative.
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure that video did help me get through the Flower Quest. I think I remember watching that whenever I was doing it, and because that's like the end of my Hollow Knight like journey right there, just trying to complete some stuff and.
Oh right, like the Flower Quest itself. Interesting.
Yeah, I definitely remember that one. But yeah, I can't wait to watch a Sheepy video. That's like my new most anticipated game now after this podcast is playing Sheepy.
Not only because it's free and it's tiny and it's like so easy to play. You can play it on a laptop.
Yeah. Okay, then maybe I can play it on my Mac. Okay.
Oh. Does a Mac have Steam?
Yeah, I have Steam. And not every Steam game is like Mac compatible or whatever. But you know, I think that
I've had a few people comment on the video saying that they can't play it because Mac, and I'm like, what?
Oh, I thought I saw it was maybe it was the Eyes game.
I mean, I can check its requirements.
Yeah, it's just Windows, I think.
Yeah, it says Windows 7 or newer. Fuck.
Man. Yeah, I can't wait. Short Hike, like, I think was like such an amazing game to me. So I'm so excited that there's something else kind of in that realm. I never even.
I think this, in terms of atmosphere, absolutely kicks Short Hike's ass.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's not even close.
Wow.
But I think Short Hike, in terms of content, has more.
Yeah.
You can play a Short Hike for longer. You can make challenge runs out of it. You can make more content out of the content in Short Hike than you can with Sheepy. Sheepy is just an experience.
Yeah. But even the base experience of Short Hike was good. And then I'm like, oh, I still got like 7 hours of stuff I could do if I like, just play around and.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so what about
totally agree with that.
What about your YouTube questions before I move on to like Hollow Knight, Silksong stuff?
So these are mainly, instead of questions, more topics.
Yeah.
I suppose I can frame it like a question. As another content creator, as someone that's making podcasts, as someone that's, asking people to come on your show and talk about topics that interest them. How do you feel you've got a grasp or no grasp whatsoever on things like titles and thumbnails?
Me personally, like I feel like I kind of understand. Like this is great after you just talking about your experience with your channel and everything too, because that's so interesting. Like, that someone's comment just had you be like, oh, let me do, and the fact that you took that advice, that's like a whole nother level of it. Because there's so many times where I'll get a comment and I'll be like, oh, I'm not listening to this at all. Like I don't care about my mic quality right now. Like, do you know how many videos I listen to with terrible mic quality? You know, like
I like obsessively read every single comment, and there are very, very few ones that I don't reply to.
really, yeah. Yeah, I try to respond and reply to everybody, but when someone's just like rude, like, "Hey, you need to do this." It's like, "Wait, whoa, whoa." You know, sometimes I'll get a little bit like that, you know, like, "What do you mean?" Like, but there's a lot of good advice in it, you know, like and your story is the best example of that, you know. Like there you can get some good advice from all that. But you know, I guess just my experience with YouTube, you know, I'm such a fan of videos, you know, I kind of can tell like what I click on, what all like I don't know. I'm like a fan of design too. You know, I'm a music creator myself. Like I was in music, you know, I made music for years and I also did photography, music videos. Like I've made music videos for tons of artists and stuff. So I've kind of always had like weird experience in like marketing and design. Not that like anything's ever been like crazy successful or anything, but so I don't know. I find myself like often in like a battle of like trying to make things like look really good, but also I know that YouTube is like kind of does have like some of its like not secrets, but like cheats and just kind of like there's you know there's ways to make things simple, not say too much. Like it's definitely something I think about like probably more than most of my videos. You know, like to be honest, like I kind of will sometimes get stopped up titling and thumbnailing sometimes, or sometimes I know exactly what it needs to be, but
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place, but I kind of like above all like I feel like me personally, I just have to be genuine in my titles and thumbnails. Like, you know, never try to trick people too much, but like also like get them curious. I don't know.
So okay. So clickbait is a trick,
Yeah.
right? And I completely agree with that. Is it a bad trick?
I don't know. That's my battle. Is that like I personally want to feel like it is, but it works and it
I think
makes
there are varying levels of it too. I don't feel like there is a clear cut, yes, clickbait is bad. I feel like if your title and thumbnail are not only relevant but also included in the video, I don't believe it's baity at all.
yeah.
I do, however, believe that blatantly lying or misdirecting what a video is about in a title or thumbnail, I believe that is clickbaity.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And I
Mr.
believe the internet is currently, I don't believe clickbait like it used to, say that like an old man. I don't believe it exists anymore on the internet. I don't believe it's functional.
What do you mean? Like do you think
Like the you won't believe what happened, most insane story ever, and then it's the most mediocre thing you've ever seen. I don't believe that happens and is
oh,
successful anymore.
I think I'd have to disagree. I think it's more successful than ever. I think clickbait is acceptable now. I think I think people know that like certain people are going to deliver certain things. And I think certain creators are like totally fine with that. Like I'm really into hip hop, right? And like music and stuff. And so like I don't know if you know anything about like the rap beef that happened last year, but like seeing my algorithm, which is like half video games, half like hip hop media, it's like it's interesting seeing, you know, and like with video games, I think it's different. Like I think that like people are better about stuff now. You know what I mean? But like when it comes to just genuine news stuff, like and rumors, which is kind of like more prevalent in other things rather than video games, like you know, it's still very badly. But most people are going there just they want to hear rumors. They want to hear speculation. You know what I mean? Like they don't care if
Mm.
it's the actual truth nowadays. Like people just want to hear opinions on things for the most part. So that's why I think like clickbait is kind of like I kind of agree that it necessarily exist anymore because like people don't like people kind of know what they're going for in a sense when they click on a video and like I don't know, you know, every once in a while people like go into like something new and be like, "Oh, what the hell was this?" Like but I don't know.
I think nowadays the current shape of the internet, I couldn't even easily define what is clickbait.
Yeah.
Because bait suggests that you're being deceived.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the deception either begins, ends, or lies.
Yeah.
When it comes to a clickbait title.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to agree. And there's just there is a talent in getting people like click on your video and then also be happy with the content even if it is kind of different. You know what I mean? Like
I've definitely fallen prey as well to a video that I've looked at and been like, this was severely underwhelming. And then gone, actually, no. As in, like, the thumbnail and title was severely underwhelming, and been like, no, this video is actually really good. And I've also had instances where I've clicked on a video and then completely forgotten what the thumbnail and title were.
Yeah.
And gone, shit, this was a really entertaining video. Why did I click on this? And then having to go back and then hope that YouTube still suggests the same things to me so I can look at what the title and thumbnail was that made me click on it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because it's such a big deal.
Yeah. It really is. And your story I feel like emphasizes that so much of how like that can like change the projection of a channel, you know.
Oh my god, it wasn't Jacob. His name was Lucas.
Lucas. Oh my god, I got a Lucas in my Discord too. So, I guess is there any?
Yeah, I found the whole comment. I'm posting it here just so that I don't forget it.
Wow.
Not Jacob, Lucas.
Rename. This is an iconic screenshot right here, Loki.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shaped my channel.
Wow, that's amazing. That's history. Do you have another like topic / question about YouTube that you wanna go over?
Yeah, actually. So I've always found it fascinating that I feel like videos sit into 3 different categories, and focus of what makes like a video super clickable sits into what I think is 2.
Okay.
So I think the 2 categories for whether or not a audience gives a damn about a certain video topic is either, is it relevant? Is it currently following trends? Is it what a lot of people are already searching up and interested in? Is it the Marvel rivals of the current video base, where it is the Overwatch killer and it's doing everything right and it's got overpowered characters and nerf hella and so on and so forth? Relevant, clickable stuff because it's there and it makes a difference. It's not that it makes a difference, and it's clickable and easy to watch because you've got an audience that are there because they're following trends. And there's the total opposite of that, where a game or a topic or a subject already has an invested and interested audience after the wave of trendiness, which often exists with games like Elden Ring, which existed, blew up, and then died down with still a massive following behind it. So you can now make Elden Ring videos and people will still be interested in them. You just gotta hope the video that you're making is unique, because everybody's already made an endless number of videos on them. And so I believe those are the 2 types of things that draw an audience. Does it even already have an interested audience, or is it trendy? And you can make trends, but that's very rare.
Yeah.
And hard to do. Really hard to do. But it is possible. It's definitely possible to find a niche of people that are just interested in stuff that isn't popular and doesn't have a large audience. I think that's the hardest possible thing to do, but I think it is possible. And I think there are 3 different types of content on the internet. I believe that there is videos that explain things, which is video essays, tutorials, guides, how-tos, stuff like what I make in a lot of instances. are explained videos. I believe that they do well on the internet.
Yeah.
I believe another type of thing that does really well on the internet is things people haven't seen before. New stuff. Stuff that gets people's attention. Even if an essay isn't on something new, it still gets people's attention. But let's imagine that you've got a video essay on something and on a topic that people haven't ever considered before. That is suddenly 2 out of 3, and it's a very, very interesting video. And the last thing is something that takes a really long time, like a time lapse or like a retrospective that is cut and compressed down into a much more manageable fashion. So something that takes a really long time and is compressed into a small amount, something that people have never seen before or is brand new or from a new angle that people haven't thought about, and things that are explained or tutorials or guides, etc. Those are the 3 different types of content that I believe do really well on the internet. And sometimes someone strikes gold and gets all 3, which is the perfect spot.
What do you think an example of striking gold is?
So, something someone's never seen before, explains it like a video essay, and encapsulates something that takes a really long time and compresses it into a small amount of time, is much more manageable. Do you know who Summoning Salt is?
No.
He makes the history of speedrunning for a particular game.
Okay.
So he explains all of the tricks that people have never seen before, but it's an explanation because the speedrunning community is really small. So you naturally have stuff that a lot of people have never seen. He's explaining it, and he's showing the history of it, which is over years, compressed into a much more manageable video that's usually less than an hour. His entire channel is built off that. He has infinitely struck gold. I think another great example is the Shoeless video on Rumble. Is on a game that nobody's seen before. He's explaining the sort of the history and the saga of this underdog arc for a move that everybody completely discounted within the game that they thought was useless, and its total uprising into not only being viable but one of the most interesting and fun playstyles to ever exist. And he's explaining it. He struck gold. And I believe I only ever get 2 out of 3. I've never had 3 out of 3. I've had explained, but it's never been something that people have never seen before. I've had things that people have never seen before, but it's never been over a really long span period of time and like compressed into a short video. And I've had things that take a really, really long period of time and is something that people have never seen before, but it's never been explained. And I'm still trying to get that holy trinity.
Silk Song Cope explained for idiots. or explained
I
in
feel
insults.
like the Silk Song explained in insults is definitely a possible thing.
The Silk Song Cope, though, I feel like especially like that being like part of like my world in this Hollow Knight community of just the Silk Song speculation world. I feel like that'd be a funny
new,
one.
Though.
What, yeah, but I feel like explaining.
So I got 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And honestly, if it's not something, if I'm not like covering the history of it all, or if I'm not making a video that takes a really long time, like, I don't know, a great example of something taking a long time that's not just the history of something is a challenge that takes you like 100 hours to complete. And you documented all of it, and then you compress down all of your failures, all of your successes in one thing, and you're explaining it. That's another holy trinity.
Yeah.
But it definitely needs the explanations, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, to me personally, you know, like I like that, you know, I like shooting for all 3 of that, but I don't think like, you know, I still think that it's like, yeah, I mean, striking gold is hard, you know, so it's like no matter what, like, yeah, like I don't think it's always necessary, you know, like that's still.
I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary, and I think a lot of the time you can't control which of the 3 you're hitting.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form. you're not ever really sure if it's something people have never seen before. You're not ever really sure if you're explaining something in a way that makes it interesting and engaging. And you're never really sure if the length of time a video is covering is either long enough or like short enough to be considered like a time capsule. Like you don't know.
Yeah. Now, when you say that those are the three types of content that you think are like the
I
most
think those are the three
successful.
types of successful content on the internet. I haven't found something that doesn't fit into those three categories yet.
Yeah.
That's done well.
I was gonna say, yeah, I feel like I can think of like other stuff that I think is like very like successful, but like I feel like you may be onto something as far as like just having like real traction behind it, like a real solid fan base, because like everything else can be like fickle, you know, everything else can kind of come and go with the trend too quickly.
I think that often happens when you've got stuff that is things people have never seen before. You totally get that fickleness with an audience. And that is absolutely what happens when you follow trends as opposed to follow an established audience. It
Yeah.
is totally the end result. Unless your life and interest revolves around what's already relevant. Like if you're a really good researcher and you're fantastic at finding information that other people really struggle to get the whole picture of
Yeah.
and can turn it into an engaging explanation video, damn, you're pyrocynical.
Yeah.
Like you've completely created effectively a news niche.
No, I do like the style, and I feel like this is like more of an older style, but I like the style of when people tried to like really make like a show on YouTube. And now the one that I can think of nowadays that still goes, and it's basic because it is news related. It's have you ever like watched Spawn Wave or seen a Spawn Wave video?
Spawn wave.
Yeah.
No.
He's just a guy who does morning videos at 7 a.m. in America, and he does news Monday through Friday. It's a 20-minute video every time, and he kind of stands there like a news reporter, and he's got like the photo above to the left of him. And you
Perfect,
know,
perfect.
yeah, and it's kind of like a great structure, I think, and like and I love it just because it does remind me of a news show, but it's just totally video game related. And then I think of one which is bad. I don't know. Have you ever heard of the Completionist?
I have. Yes, there was a lot of controversy surrounding him.
Yeah. I know. I really liked his like YouTube before, like before all that happened and stuff too. And he just had like a very like interesting structure of like a show. You know, it was like him completing a game and the way he did it, and it never spoiled the game, but it gave you a lot of the game, and he went through like just the whole 100%.
I've lost my shit over how actually talented and good he is at video games. There
Yeah.
are a lot of games that you can beat, and it's totally underwhelming because getting to 100% is fine. And there are other games like Hollow Knight where getting every single pantheon with all
Yeah.
all four bindings on at once is insane.
Yeah. I know. I can't even beat P5.
I'm just glad he never went and did Celeste.
Did he never do
Because then I'd be
Celeste?
losing my mind. I don't think he ever did do Celeste. At least not to a
You're
proper
right.
100%. Because he'd have to go for golden strawberries.
Yeah. So
And
you're doing golden strawberries?
there is literally a. I mean, I am actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say, seeing some of your lives and stuff, like, or at least like what all lives you have done. I was like, I've seen that you're doing some strawberry stuff, and I'm like, I could never do one golden strawberry.
Yeah, fuck, man. Completing games that are really hard is a nightmare.
Yeah, I saw when I was looking through some of your streams, at least on one of your other channels, like the back streams of it. I saw that you played Death's Door recently. Was that your first time?
It was.
I
I don't know what I can do with that game.
Really?
It feels like it could be a really good comfort game, but you have to get past this absolute monolith of a challenge, which is figuring out how to navigate the world entirely from memory. There's no
Yeah.
map.
Wow, that wasn't, I struggle so much with games in so many ways, and that was one thing that wasn't too much of a struggle for me, to be honest, that I think about now. Even I stopped playing that game halfway through and went back, and I just went back to that game like last week and beat it for the first time, and I was like, wow, this was actually a really good game, and
It is a really good game. I don't know. I feel like I don't know what it's missing.
yeah, no,
There's something about the combat that just feels like it wasn't polished
I
just
will
enough.
say, yeah, there is definitely something missing in the game. Like it feels like empty in some capacity, but like I kind of like that too. It just kind of, it's the indie.
Tunic in some ways did the same thing, and I was like, fuck, it just needs that little bit of
n-
something
Just
to make
wait
this
for
combat
Tunic.
really shine.
Well,
I just need to wait.
yeah, I mean, yeah, just wait with Tunic. Yeah, you definitely need to wait with Tunic. Has a lot more. Tunic is the complete Death Store, if you ask me. Um,
Oh,
Now
okay, shit.
the
Alright.
combat will get better, and there's a lot more to the game, and there's a lot more ways to play it, and but I will say I think they just have limitations when it comes to combat with that style. But there's got to be someone that can like master. I like to where like I think that maybe you might critique Tunic's combat a little bit, but there's a lot more options in the future. But
I definitely didn't think that Death's Door had a fully fleshed out combat system. I felt like
yeah,
there was a lot of things that made it clunky only because there was only one way to do everything. It was literally you use your weapon, roll away, use a spell, go in, use your weapon, roll away, use a spell, go in, and that was just the endless
yeah,
loop. And there was very few ways of optimizing it that wasn't just I found a bomb. I'm gonna fucking throw this at you now, and it costs twice as much spell things, but it does twice as much damage. And now I'm gonna roll in, hit you more, roll away, and throw a bomb. And
yeah.
that was the difference. And you're like, fuck, bro, just I don't know. I desperately wanted there to be a way that I could complete the game that wasn't running around like a headless chicken forever because there's so many areas you can't visit through the first time around and you just have to remember that you haven't seen them yet.
Yeah. I will say,
And
yeah,
that's fucked.
completing that game, like the first thing, but once I was like trying to like actually do like completion stuff on it, it was kind of like, I'm just running back and forth on this map. But I enjoyed some of the like at least I enjoyed the pace of the combat for me. Like at least like I now that you say that, like I feel like some of those arrows and some of those add-ons, like it could have been like there could have been some really cool boss fight mechanics as far as like you having to use certain those in certain moments and stuff like that. But yeah, I do want a few more games from that perspective. Those like top down, and I do feel like maybe someone can come through and master that combat for real.
Mm.
All right, so did you play Hollow Knight before the Silksong announcement?
Yeah.
You did. You were.
Yeah. I was my introduction to Hollow Knight was 4 years after its release.
So that would have been after the Silksong announcement.
Wait, actually, was it after the first ever Silk? It wasn't.
Yeah, Silksong was announced in 2019, so it was like 2 years after um the release of it, and it's like a year after like the Switch release.
Shit, no, you so right. Damn. Okay, then yes, I did after the Silk Song announcement. That is completely correct.
Well, yeah. See, I'm still looking like that's like been my like number one goal is like I want one Cherry Time episode to just interview a Kickstarter supporter. Like that's my goal. I've been
Oh.
looking for one in my YouTube. I've been asking in like in a bunch of my videos. I'm like, please comment below if you supported the Kickstarter. I just want to interview you. And
Hey, you already have all of their names.
I guess yeah, I guess. But yeah, I just don't want to.
You
Don't
have
want.
every Kickstarter. In fact, you have all the special Kickstarters existing in the Spirits Glade.
Yeah.
Just go to the resting grounds and then go to that that Dreamnail area, that statue. You have every name there.
Yeah, I just don't want to start DMing random people like, hey. but but
Dude,
but
do
I
it.
might. I might. I'm not opposed to it.
Like what? Do it. Absolutely do it.
I'm not opposed.
100%.
I'll find it. You got me convinced. All right, that's gonna be my goal now.
That's how you get them.
All right. All right. I'm gonna reference this video in the start of that podcast.
That's a good idea. Tell them I sent you.
Yeah, I'll start the video with this clip and it'll be the history of it. But so all right, what was your introduction with Hollow Knight like? Like when you first played it, so you just bought it on like you got it on
I started playing it on stream.
Okay.
So you're right. I did get it on sale. I had it sitting in my inventory for a while, and then it was my first time experiencing streaming ever was playing Ori and the Blind Forest, which I was told was like Hollow Knight. So I went, all right, I'll go try out Hollow Knight. And I
still haven't played the Ori
holy
games.
fuck. Dude, they're so good.
I'm going to do them on stream soon, but yeah, keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
They're so good. But yeah, I played Ori, I'd speedrun Ori, and I was like, you know what? I'll give this Hollow Knight thing a shot. And I did. And it was my first ever experience streaming, and I sucked at the game and at streaming. And I played through a decent amount of the game. They sort of introduced me to, I think, the Grim Troop and got me to actually complete my first ever like playthrough of Hollow Knight that didn't include the true ending and didn't include Godhome. Then I learned about Godhome and played through it and failed the Pantheon of Hallownest and went, all right, I'm not going to touch this anymore until I learn to get good at this game. And then I started speedrunning it immediately. And I became the fastest Australian to ever do the true ending speedrun.
Wow. Hell yeah.
And was like, sick. That's like number 30 on the leaderboards out of 60. Because there's nobody in Australia that speedruns, ever. Actually, I don't even think I'm in the top 30 anymore. Hold on. If I go to speedrun.com, I'm going to get humbled so fast. Hold up. If I go to Hollow Knights, there's Hollow Knight. Delicious. True ending. Where is it? No major glitches. True ending. Where the fuck is WINDETTE? Am I even the fastest Australian still? Come on, Wimdy. Come on, Wimdy. I am still the fastest Australian speedrunner in the true ending category. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
I am number 60 on the dot. It's 3 years old.
Still holding.
There are people who did this 6 years ago, 7 years ago that are faster than I am. I'm molding. But yeah, there's only 88 people in that category, so I'm not exactly doing too hot. But you know what? Number 1 Australian, fuckers.
Hey, you're on it.
Yeah, that was mainly my introduction to Hollow Knight, I think, was speedrunning. I loved the game. So glad when I picked it up. It was just so much fun.
So if you start a new Hollow Knight game today, are you gonna save Zote?
No.
Good. Okay, good.
No, that's you actually get more money if you're going fast by ignoring Zote and killing George's extended family just below him.
Okay.
You get the 2 Geo mounds, and then you kill both Georges, and you get like 180 Geo instead of the fucking 60 that you get from Zote when you kill the Vengeful King, which I think is stonks.
Hell yeah.
That's worth it.
So
yeah, I'm not saving Zote. Definitely not.
Good. That's
Never
the right answer.
years.
I always gotta ask everybody if they save Zote or not. So where are you at with Silksong right now? Are you like avoiding like any hope of it coming out, or do you think we're close?
Honestly, I haven't given it any thought because it
Wow.
like it does not make any difference how much I give a damn as to when it will release. And I'm like that with everything though, which I think is a blessing and a curse.
No, that's
to be so fucking unperturbed by anything. But it also means I don't get hyped for stuff, and that I do lose out on a lot of excitement for not being susceptible to hype.
That's interesting.
Like I've never even been susceptible to things like peer pressure in the majority of instances. I just sort of exist in this state where whatever happens, and I'm only focusing on whatever I'm doing right now. which I think sometimes can annoy people because they're relevant and aware of the things going on in the world, and I have no fucking clue.
I'm gonna say that
So yeah, I guess
sounds like a
I'm not
peaceful
hyped
world
for
though.
Silksong.
It sounds
I
like a
think that's
peaceful world.
Yeah, but ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm definitely ignorant. I think that's definitely a term that I would use to describe what I am.
So do you even like hear all
Nope.
the hoopla
I
that
was
goes
not
around?
aware. I was not aware that was it Leth that changed their profile picture
It was
to a
William.
cake? It was William. Yeah, I wasn't aware of this.
Okay, wow. I was gonna say that was my next question. What do you think of the whole William Pellin
I
tweet
didn't
situation?
even know it was happening until somebody else told me, "Hey, what were your thoughts on this?" And I said there was the thing. And they're like, "What the fuck, Windy? Do you live under a rock?" And the answer is, if the rock is Earth, yes, I am on the underside.
All right, so if you had to guess though, I guess what stage do you think they might be in with the game right now?
Relentless polish.
Relentless polish. Yeah.
And as far as I'm aware, from what I know of the developers of Hollow Knight, I believe they are wanting to continue adding content to the game. So I believe they've got half a mind to keep polishing the areas that they've already got finished and the mechanics that they're already playing with. But I honestly believe they're just continuing to try to add stuff, despite their best efforts not to.
Yeah, I wonder if they just are like they're just like fuck
I
it. We're just
guarantee you, they're like, oh, we can add this. And then they go, fuck, we can add that. Like, I guarantee you that has happened at least once.
yeah.
Because it's fun. Making stuff is fun, and adding things to stuff is really fun until you have to actually start adding it.
Yeah.
'Cause then
Yeah,
that
and getting
takes,
to the finish
time and
line
effort.
is always the toughest part.
I always struggle with the starting process more than the finish line. Getting started is always, always harder for me than continuing to go.
Really?
I'm like a dynamo. Yeah, once the engine's already rolling, it's fine, but getting me started is like a lawnmower with a shitty old cord. It just
See,
doesn't fucking work.
I can get started, but I can like start and then halfway through be like, and like give up, like or like just quit and be like, I don't know, or something
Damn,
happens.
I ain't got that. Not even close.
Wow. All right,
Yeah,
so
not even close.
so my last Silk Song related question, I guess, if there like is there like an aspect about the game that you might be most excited for, even though you say you kind of just like avoid the hype, but if there, like I guess even just like this might even kind of be
Yeah,
related.
actually, there is. There
Okay,
is. The movement system.
the movement
Hollow
system.
Knight has had a unbelievably consistent and very simple movement system that has been optimized to a ridiculous degree. And I still think that the two most interesting mechanics that the game made use of was its like Mantis Claw, wall jump, and the pogo mechanic. And I'd probably just say the pogo mechanic by far is the most interesting movement mechanic Hollow Knight has access to. It is such a fascinating concept to hit something that's below you and to
Yeah,
manually time hitting something below you in order to go up.
yeah,
But Silksong looks like it's going to play in a totally different dimension. And that fascinates me. I have no idea what to expect other than that it seems so interesting.
yeah. I feel like Hollow Knight's movement alone is just like kind of just really set a standard for Metroidvanias, and I feel like it can draw people a lot like away from other games, like because things don't move like Hollow Knight or anything, and
I thought it was very simple.
yeah, yeah, but there's
It's
something
very simple. It's so pure and so optimized, I suppose. But it's
yeah,
very simple.
yeah. But yeah, there's something about that. Like I guess going back to the beginning of the podcast too. Like I think that's like a beauty of people like going back and just keeping certain things simple and really, I don't know. There's like a certain balance with things. Like if you keep other things very light, like that gives you room to like explore and like other things. Like it's kind of like a music thing. Like if the music is like very if there's a lot going on in the music, you want the lyrics to be very simple. If you want to do a lot of lyrics, you know what I mean? You want the music behind it to be very simple. It's kind of, so I feel like there might be
I
like
can
some of that in
understand
the
that.
game. Like, there's so much going on in Hollow
There's
Knight.
only so much space in the
Yeah.
game for things. I
Yeah.
think there's definitely mastery in having a lot going on in both categories, and neither one is eating away at the other. But I
True.
also think that that is a perfect storm that you cannot perfectly replicate every time.
Yeah. No,
It's
definitely.
often an accident.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think oftentimes that ends up being an accident where you're just like, dude, this area was awesome, and it's just a total mistake. Like like beyond intentional. You just no way in hell could you have predicted that it would have worked that way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
There's a few games that have done that actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, that just perfect storm of things fitting together in a way that you would not have expected it to work so fundamentally well. I think Deep Rock Galactic did that really well with its music, because the game has a lot going on visually, a lot going on gameplay wise, and the music has a lot going on at several instances. But what it does, and I think the only reason why it works, is they all pick up and lower in sync.
Deep Rock Galactic?
Yeah, Deep Rock Galactic. It's a shoot bugs on alien planet because I'm here to go mine crystals and I'm a dwarf. That is the space dwarf kill alien bugs is game concept. Very, very cutesy polygon-esque art style, which is cool. But like, the reason I mentioned it as being able to do that perfect storm is the gameplay isn't really, really, really high octane while the music is really chill. And the music isn't really high octane while the gameplay is really chill. They both drop down to a grinding halt when you're alone in the cave. It's pitch fucking black, and you're just looking for the tiniest sparkles of gems on the walls. And suddenly you hear skittering, and the music begins to pick up until eventually you turn on your flashlight and you look at the ceiling, and there are thousands of bugs there, and everything comes crashing down. And it picks up, everything picks up all at once. It's that sort of total overwhelmed level of chaos that normally wouldn't work in a video game because you'd just be so fucking overwhelmed. That is the point. That's the reason why it does it in Deep Rock. The game is built around this idea that you are suddenly, uncontrollably overwhelmed and out of your depth. And it sort of builds on that, where you can have the gameplay doing a lot and the music doing a lot and the visuals doing a lot all at once. You can totally have that, but it needs to serve the purpose of it being. Yeah, and it would, because it's not a balance. It's not the balance lies in the fact that it's meant to be completely overwhelming.
Yeah,
like you're meant to be freaking the fuck out the entire time, and it totally nails that. Totally nails that. But I think those are the perfect storm game kind of exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something else that might be like that.
I feel like to go with your balancing, I feel like Celeste's music has a lot going on. There's a lot changing. There's lots of different sounds. There's total dynamic variety constantly throughout the tracks. No track ever sits still. No track is ever always loud or always fast or always slow. They're always phasing in and out between stuff, but visually the game is unbelievably simple. There's never a shitload of stuff happening on screen until you get all the way to Farewell and the background is moving. That's the only instance.
Yeah.
Because there's like stars and things twinkling everywhere, and there's just shapes and colors constantly, and that is also designed to be overwhelming. When they combine the gameplay being so intense and the background being so intense and the music being so intense. It's one of the reasons I think it's so bloody hard.
Farewell's like that 9th chapter where you're like up in space, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I put it
very, very end.
I put it
everything
down.
picks up.
That's where I quit Celeste.
Did you do all of the C sides and B sides as well?
Hell no.
Okay,
no.
so that's why.
Okay, so do B-sides first. Okay. Yeah, I was.
B-sides and C-sides
Yeah,
first.
okay.
Once you beat a B-side, then you get access to the C-sides. And what they do is they get... So the first chapter, long. B-side, shorter, harder. C-side, shortest, hardest.
I thought that was like an interesting difficulty jump from Farewell. I was like,
Yeah. I experienced the exact same thing as you. I was like, yeah, let's go through all the A-sides. There's everything there. And you just go through them all and you get to Farewell and you're like, let's keep it going. And why am I getting my fucking ass kicked? And you
yeah.
just don't understand. It's because all of the mechanics you need for Farewell are taught to you piece by piece, slowly, throughout the entirety of the prior game. And the game doesn't explain this.
Yeah,
I wish it did.
I was pushing through B-sides, and now it's like I'll pick up Celeste like, every once in a while, just when I'm like, thinking about it, and I just will get through a few more rooms and B-sides, and yeah, I need to go back through it.
You have to try all of the B-sides and all of the C-sides, because it's so much more whole. The game is filled. It is not extras. Like the B-sides feel like just here's an extra little bonus version of the level. No. It teaches you mechanics that you had no idea existed. Do you know what an ultra dash is?
No, but I wait. Is that where
Madeline's movement speed is uncapped?
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's like different like movement things, and I know that you can kind of like go through like the room switches and kind of get like extra jumps off that. Like I've definitely seen a few of the little videos talking about like certain tricks with her movement that way, but it's just I'm not the most advanced when it comes to stuff like that. Like,
okay, I'm gonna send you a 30-second snippet just for the podcast. Wait, that's a URL that does work. That's good. The URL does work. I just want you to watch this. It takes 30 seconds, and I want you to react live over the podcast.
all right,
This is fully doable within the game. It begins sort of like, this is kind of what I expect. Okay, never mind, they're going through spikes type stuff.
God.
Totally possible.
I'll say, so you have to learn these jumps to get through this?
No, this is just what's possible.
Oh, wow. What the hell just happened?
Yeah, did you get to 22 seconds?
Oh, yeah. What the hell
Go
just
back
happened?
and watch it again. Watch it again. Go back to 20 seconds and just watch that section again.
What the hell was that?
Fucking no! Like, yeah, unreal. Totally possible within the base game. The game teaches you everything there.
Look, I thought
you're...
Core A-side almost broke me. Like, I was almost ready to quit the game then. So, like, I didn't... Yeah.
You do have to. It's literally all the A-sides from 1 to 8, then all of the B-sides 1 to 8, all of the C-sides 1 to 8, which are tiny, and then Farewell.
And does Farewell have a B-side and C-side? Or no?
No.
Okay,
no.
it's just
Farewell
hard enough on its own.
Is its own fucking marathon.
Okay.
And it's so hard. The game has, I don't know if you know, the game has golden strawberries. Do you know what those are?
Yeah, that's getting all the strawberries without touching the ground?
No.
Oh, wait.
That's a 1-up, which is an achievement that you can get, which is
Okay.
very, very hard to get, but super worthwhile doing. It's really fun. You can do it on the first chapter, which is awesome. A golden strawberry requires you to go through an entire level without dying once.
Okay,
which
yeah,
in
you
chapter
got it.
1, you're like, oh yeah, that's fine. Chapter 1's only 2
Yeah.
minutes. And then chapter 2 is 3 minutes, and chapter 3 is 5 minutes or 7 minutes, and has cycles. And chapter 4 is also 6 minutes, and chapter 5 is 7 minutes, and chapter 6 is probably 6 minutes, and then you got to go to Summit, which is chapter 7, and that's 9. And you're like, shit, I have to play 9 minutes of a platformer with really tight controls without making a mistake once to get 1 strawberry.
Yeah.
And those are taken to the absolute pinnacle. There is a spreadsheet that exists for Celeste for getting the golden strawberry in Farewell, and less than 200 people are on that spreadsheet.
Wow.
Less than 200 people ever have gotten 1 golden strawberry.
Yeah.
Because it's just that hard.
Yeah, I could never. I might try to get one just to say I get one, but that's about it. I think I'm gonna start trying to push through on B-sides now. I think you convinced me to go back to Celeste.
You totally should. You totally should.
Yeah.
The B-sides and C-sides also have their own strawberries.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Their own golden strawberry, rather.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
It's good fun though. It's really good fun.
Yeah. I still need to beat P5. I haven't beat P5 yet.
I mean, have you played through all of Hollow Knight again since trying to do the Pantheons?
Yeah, I played Hollow Knight quite a few times. I played it like on pretty much every console. I like end up buying it again and beating it again and
Okay. Have you tried Steel Soul yet?
What I do for the podcast is I typically like record me playing Hollow Knight. Like, I had like video with like Relia and that was it. And besides that, I've just, like I typically just started putting footage over it.
Okay.
And so I've been convincing myself but the last one I did was with CC Maka and I started a Steel Soul run for our interview. So I have a Steel Soul run started. But I haven't speed ran Hollow Knight at all or like even done like the 5-hour achievement. So like doing that is like impossible to me at this point. So Steel Soul.
They're definitely not impossible. They're so doable.
No, I know it's not impossible, but I've done one run and then I tried to do Watcher Knights first. Like I got up there.
That's rough.
Yeah, I know. I just put myself up there and I'm like, I got up there within like an hour and 10 minutes. And then I just like I can't do Watcher Knights. That
Definitely,
early.
it's not a skill check thing anywhere near as much as it is a knowledge thing.
Yeah.
To get the speedrun achievements is quite literally, instead of go and do the bosses as fast as possible, it's get stonk as fast as possible. You want like max level spells.
Okay.
Before you go anywhere. Like you know where to find the dive ability. So you go straight to Soulmaster and you try and kill him. But if killing Soulmaster is too hard, then you go and you get your Shade Soul upgrade, which requires 800 Geo. And you can do all that before fighting anything other than Hornet. Okay. And like the False Knight. Like that's like the first bosses that you've got to fight are almost it. And you can go through basically the entire game avoiding bosses until you're strong enough. And you get completely overpowered within like an hour, and then you just annihilate every single boss you come across. You will absolutely decimate those speedrun achievements.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's definitely the thing. I'm so used to just playing Hollow Knight fully powered that like.
Yeah, it's unreal how strong you can get fast if you focus on your spells.
Okay, I'll try that.
Because to get your nail to max level, it's like 8,000 Geo and 5 pale ores, and that's a lot to get. And you have to keep going back to the nailsmith over and over again. But spells is like maybe an hour to get everything to max level, which is crazy. And you can't fuck that up somehow. It's unreal.
I'm gonna try to come up with a little plan. Maybe I'll do that. We're at about an hour 45 already, so I'll at least have an hour and 45 minutes that I'll need footage of for this one. So maybe I'll try a new speed run of it, trying to get the achievement.
I'll join you for that. If you're gonna do that today, then I'll join you for that. That'll be funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I might end up trying to record footage tomorrow or something. though. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I understand. Slowly in a corner. Look, I bought lamingtons. Do you know what those are?
No.
It's like an Australian treat. It's sponge cake surrounded in chocolate and then powdered coconut around the outside. Or not powdered, coconut shavings around the outside. And it's called a lamington. And they're really good. And they only exist in Australia for some absurd reason, despite them being really good.
Lamington. Yeah, I would never... Well, yeah, I guess they wouldn't make it here, but... Lamington, let me look this up. Oh, dang. That was fire. It's got like a little red in the middle.
They're yeah, you can have jam in them. I get the ones without jam. Not because I hate jam or anything like that, but you can get ones with or without, and I sometimes choose to go with the out one.
Oh,
they're just good. It's like sponge cake, chocolate, and then coconut shavings. That's it.
There's a place called
Super simple.
Australian Food Shop that sells and delivers lamingtons to the USA.
Oh God, do not even try. They're so expensive. The shipping is literally killer.
Wow.
Damn. Shit, what's left on our little talking list? I've got one thing left here.
Okay, yeah, and I'm pretty much at the end of my question, so we're towards the tail
So
end here.
I think you know what? I think the last thing to talk about is editing. What is editing to you? What's the hard parts? What's the easy parts? When is it fun? Is it ever?
You know, I've edited a lot in my life. Like I said, I used to do music videos. So
Yeah.
I personally don't like editing anymore. Like
Whoa.
I'm kind of over it.
Okay.
But with YouTube, it's different. Like, YouTube, like I don't enjoy editing YouTube videos as much as I do music videos. There's something like, it makes me kind of miss what I used to do, what I used to like dislike. I don't know.
Interesting.
And this is me having to deal with like, like me, and like, I'm just editing videos of myself talking and stuff. And, and at least before, like when I would be out, like I'd be out shooting the footage, like I like having all that power too, like something about sitting on a computer gathering footage when I need to gather certain stuff and like just recording, game footage and organizing all that. And like I kind of just miss like, being able to like go spend a day outside. And it's funny because that's the one thing I hated about being a videographer and photographer was like, oh, I have to like go places and like no matter how cold or hot it is. But
You
like
just gotta
that,
go out. But that's a good thing. That's like
yeah,
the effort that it forces out of you to go and do those
yeah.
things.
Like I'm much better if I can like take a camera and be like, okay, I gotta like achieve this today,
Yeah.
and
It's good. It's good, right? And it sort of makes you want to make something out of it so that the effort and time isn't wasted.
yeah. I work better under pressure like that, and there's something about just me sitting at my desk and just being like, okay, I gotta get this, I gotta get this. Like, I don't know. It's just there's less pressure on me, and it makes it drag, and it makes, and sometimes I'll like just be super, super motivated, and then I'll just be like, all right, I'm not editing. I don't even want to touch my computer for 2 weeks. Like,
Yep. Yep, I can understand that. I think I've got the dynamo thing where it's really hard to get started, but
yeah,
once I have gotten started on a video, I think because it's not here's all the footage, now edit it down into something that is entertaining to watch. It's okay, have an idea for a video that you know is going to take a while, and you write a script for it that you know you're going to need to get the footage for, and then you start getting the footage for the relevant bits of script that you got there, and then you start crafting it. And it's this really slow sculpting process that is sluggish as hell when you're just trying to find the right fucking footage that you know you recorded. It's in here somewhere.
yeah,
And you have the right audio, you've got everything set up, the music fits the tone, and you're just trying to find this fucking piece of footage. And then you finally drag it in, and then the editing software is waiting for a while, and you're like, oh, God. And then it crashes, and then you just fucking flip your desk and go outside. Like you can't deal with it just making your life even more difficult. I hate that.
yeah,
I hate that so much. But once it's all on the timeline, God, I have fun.
yeah.
I am laughing so frequently at like stream highlights. The shit that a Twitch chat can say and do is so funny, and you're not aware of it in the moment because you're too busy like reading and actually playing the game and focusing on the challenge. And well, in my case, I'm also editing visuals and changing the music all while I'm live. So I've just got way too fucking much on my plate to care about how it feels or how it looks from an outsider's perspective. But then I get to watch it as if I'm a member of Twitch chat. God damn, is it funny? Shit, it's so silly every time. And it just makes me giggle so much. Like, I feel like I'm making the videos for me. Like, I'm my target audience. It's so silly. And I get such a kick out of the polishing of that footage. which is, it's got to be something that I really, really enjoy about doing like a challenge run in a video game, because oftentimes a challenge run, when I've got my head like absolutely railroaded towards this one goal, there is no turns, there's no breaks, there's just sending it towards this one objective. When I don't get it, I'm like swearing and I'm pissed off and I get up and I throw shit around the room. Like, I'm just mad. And then I sit back down, I'm fuming, and I try again, and I don't get it. And it's just this endless cycle until finally victory. And I'm just absolutely washed with this sense of triumph. And it's so cool to watch that as a spectator.
Yeah.
I'm not in it anymore. I get to look at it from the outside, and it's just hilarious. I'm such an idiot, and it just makes it so entertaining. So I love it. I love the polishing of that sort of stuff, and that's just stream highlights. Like when it's a big project, something you really got to sink your teeth into to even want to get started on, let alone finish. Fuck, man, getting those started and getting through the slog of having each section sort of finding the right footage for the right bit of script that you've got written down is so hard.
Yeah.
But when it starts to come together, it's like writing a book. And you, at the very, very end, while you're doing all the fine little touches and you're just fixing up the grammar mistakes and tweaking where you've got a full stop and a comma or whatever the hell, for the sake of this analogy, that's just zooming in or, changing the way that a certain bit of text looks and animating it so that it looks and feels good. I'll spend hours on like a minute of footage, just making it feel right. And when it does feel right, fuck, it's accomplishing. You're just so satisfied with, I mean, maybe you don't experience it the same way that I do.
No,
but it's so satisfying for me.
I know exactly how you feel, but I felt that way with music videos. I have not done that with a YouTube video. And there's part of me that like, it's hard for me to commit to a long-term YouTube video. Like I do kind of appreciate, and it's part of like what I watch now too and stuff, and it's kind of what I do, but like kind of just quicker, off the script videos. And so I do a lot of those on my channel now. But it's like part of me, like I've wrote a couple essay videos and like really loved it. And then, I did like did you play Crow Country at all?
No.
Oh my God, play Crow Country. If you like, it's like a PS1 inspired, like, it's kind of like Final Fantasy looking, but it's like a survival horror game. It's so good. It was like one of my favorite games last year. I did a little video essay on that, and
overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, it's great. I love that game. I spent so much time writing this script and so much time, and I recorded my whole gameplay of that game. I put out a whole video of like, just like a full playthrough of it, and then I started working on this essay, and I sort of I spent like, just a whole weekend on it with all my, all this time, and then it's like got like 10 views, in like a day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was crushed. But over like a week, it got up to like 1,000. Like it just started getting a little bit, and like 1,000 for me with 1,000 subscribers is like phenomenal. Especially on something
that's literally peak.
Yeah, it was great. I probably didn't even have that many then. But like, so it grew, and with a short amount of time, like a week or two, it grew into like a successful video. But the first 3 days of it, I was just crushed with it. And it was
you do have to push through that.
Yeah.
For maybe 2 years.
No, I know, and I get it.
For it to bear fruit.
Yeah.
And it's fucked.
Yeah.
And I look back at myself going, how the hell did you do that? And I think the answer is purely because I made the videos for me.
Yeah.
And whether or not the video was good had nothing to do with the attention it got online. And I needed to create two spaces in my brain, one that was obsessed with analytics, trends, relevancy, thumbnails, and titles, and the other that was obsessed with polishing a product. And very rarely could I get them to coincide.
Yeah.
But when they did, it was literally jackpot.
Yeah,
and it's so hard to not feel sad when you post a video that you put your heart and soul into and it doesn't get the traction that you wanted it to.
yeah,
I totally know that feeling. I know that feeling. And I know what happens when you release something. You're like, you know what? This was good enough to not go on the second channel and go on the main channel. And then it gets less views than it would have gotten if it went on the second channel. And you're like, fuck, I knew it.
yeah,
But you just sometimes, yeah, you just gotta keep doing that. You gotta keep finding
yeah.
those things that you're super passionate about and then pouring. Because you said you spent like an entire weekend editing this and just like getting it all down, and that's like days worth
Yeah.
of time just put into that. Fuck, bro, I spent months.
Yeah.
Like, I got no control over this scope creep bullshit that I gotta deal with. I have no way to simplify the videos that I want to make now.
See, and
There's such huge projects.
yeah. And that's where I'm at. Like I get these ideas for these ones, but it's like, yeah, it's so hard to commit to something that I know is gonna take. Because it's like, yeah, with these gaming videos and stuff, it's like, wow, you really gotta like. It's different than music. You know, my music videos, I'm collecting, you know, maybe, you know, 6-7 hours of footage. You know,
Yeah.
and that's still a lot of work because it's more physical. You know, you're more setting up stuff. You know, and like
Yeah.
you don't need.
But then again, it's quote unquote only 7 hours of footage as
Yeah.
opposed to the fucking, several weeks worth of footage that
Yeah.
you'd have for a gaming video.
I know.
And you got to sift through it too.
When I first
Fuck, I hate
started,
sifting through footage.
yeah, actually, that's kind of like that's one thing I learned with music videos is like, all right, and that's what I need to do with the gaming stuff. But it's just like sifting through 40 hours of footage is different, you know. But there's something
I think
about
what you need to do then is work the other way. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna let you keep going. You're saying there's something about.
yeah, no, oh, I was just gonna say like, yeah, there's something about if you just stop and it's like, oh, I'm not gonna start editing this video, but I'm gonna start and I'm gonna cut out everything I'm not gonna use in this video. Like that's what I used to do with my music videos and just kind of like, oh, let me just get rid of all this bad stuff real quick. Like all this stuff I'm never going to use and let me dump, you know, these 10 clips onto my timeline and let me just cut out all this bad stuff but like I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. It's just yeah, with when I first started YouTube, like, you know, I started doing some stuff like a year before my Hollow Knight videos and like I just put out a couple, but it was like I was playing Pikmin 1. I recorded me playing Pikmin 1 through 4 last year, and I edited the first one. And I was like, God, I don't know if I can do this again. And I never did 2 or 3 or 4, and I still have the footage, but it was rough. It's hard to.
I definitely struggle, I think, unless I've got a goal way ahead of time and like a clear vision of how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
I really struggle to take bulk footage, like a 4-hour gaming session, and cut it down. Fuck, man. I can't do that. It's so hard. Whenever I'm gathering footage for like a big project, because it's almost always, not always, but almost always script first, then I gather just the 30 seconds that I know I need for this particular sentence in the script. And then I do that for every single one. So I'm actively going out of my way, and it takes about the same amount of time as if I just sat there and pressed the record button and went and did everything. But now I've got these hyper-focused clips, and I've named each one so that it's relevant and easy to spot. It still takes a lot of time to craft a video, but I feel like you might benefit from that. Like if you got something that you really want to talk about, a game, like start writing about it first.
Yeah.
And then when you're like, shit, I need to get this footage to talk about this part of the game, get to that part of the game and hit record until you've done that part, and then end the recording. So you've got that specific bit of footage, and you can do all the little cutting out the bits that you know aren't interesting, but you're working with a much more sizable, or not sizable, manageable amount of physical footage to sift through. Because fuck, I'd hate writing a script that I need to then adhere to the 8 hours of footage I've got for like a Celeste run. Fuck that. That would end me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like I've always thought about like that way of doing things is like, you know, I don't know, I feel like that seems harder to me of just like going and getting that small clip that I need for this. Like to me, I always felt like, oh, I had to have the footage. Like, to me, I'm like, oh, I have to record the game and then I have to write about the game. And then I have to use that footage and like, and so now I'm like playing games and I'm like writing notes along the way. Like, ooh, this is something I want to talk about. This is something I want to talk about. Like, it's kind of what I'm doing with this Tunic video. Tunic is my first start of like long form video. This playing Tunic twice video, but yeah, but I think I'll try that. Like I think I think a lot of people I hear a lot of YouTubers talking about that, like about how them recording the footage for this and stuff like that. But I always felt like it would be like harder to like rush to parts in games or something, or if it was too far into the game, and I don't know. But I guess having like multiple save files at different spots could be helpful, and who knows. But
it definitely does make a big difference. I often find, I mean, I guess you're in a different position because you don't have a PC.
Yeah, see, that's another thing is I'm kind of limited in a lot of things.
Getting mods helps.
Yeah,
It's a big deal, I think.
I'm about to get one soon. I'm about to do my taxes, get a little extra money, and then put all the YouTube money I've made so far into it. So I'll have one in a few months. And I'll play Sheepy finally.
Dude, it's so good. So good. Oh my god. Do not watch my video on it until you've played the game.
Okay. Damn, I wanted to watch that tonight, but all right.
You can. I tell you not to, and there's a reason.
I won't. I trust you. If anything,
I would just spoil the entire game.
So I can't even watch like a part of it and cut it off somewhere?
Nah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, you can watch the first 30 seconds, because in that first 30 seconds, I tell you to fuck off and go play the game, and then I pause.
Okay. All right, I might watch that first 30 seconds then.
It's just good, you know?
Hell yeah.
It's just a good game.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, check out Crow Country too if you ever get bored and need something soon.
Yeah, I've got it wishlisted.
Hell yeah.
On Steam. I'm ready.
It got me thinking I was like into survivor horror games now, and so I've been playing Silent Hill 2 lately, and that game, it gives me the most anxiety I think I've ever had in a game. And I tried doing a let's play of that, and it's like I think it's been tanking my channel a little bit too. So I've been like I don't even know if I should continue playing it on YouTube, but I like want to beat the game, but I'm also scared. Have you ever played Silent Hill 2?
No, I haven't actually.
They just did like the remake for it.
I've never touched any of the Silent Hill games. And I feel like I don't know. I don't know why I've never touched those games, but I think it's because I've not been a big console gamer.
Yeah.
I think, I pretty much as soon as I had a laptop, I only played PC games unless it was for the very, very few games that I happened to have already on console that I go and play. Like, I never bought a Switch, and I have 600 hours in Breath of the Wild.
Really? What?
It's because I emulated the whole damn thing.
Okay.
Like, I was free, and I played at 15 frames a second, and I loved it. Like, my eyes adjusted to 15 frames a second. That was normal. I would play with, like... Have you ever played Breath of the Wild?
Oh, yeah. Great game. Love that.
Dude, like, reflecting Guardian lasers with a fucking pot lid?
Yeah.
I had to do that a second and a half in advance.
Well,
that's how delayed the input was. Like, you'd hear me push the button to reflect and then watch it happen, like, a second and a bit later. It was crazy.
Wow.
But I got it. I knew when to do it. It's fucking nuts. I love that game. I love that game so much. And now you can play it modded, which is nuts.
If you don't have a Switch, did you ever get to play Tears emulated? Tears of the Kingdom?
I did emulate Tears of the Kingdom on a Switch emulator.
How did that work? Was that...
Oh, okay. Holy fuck. First of all, they got the frames per second and they absolutely nailed it, so I could play at 60 frames a second. But my god, I was not ready for how huge that game felt.
Yeah.
And then it was filled with nothing.
Wow.
It was huge and had nothing in the in-between spaces. That broke me. The story was actually phenomenal. I was
I,
really, really pleasantly surprised with the story that they told. I thought it was dark in just the right ways.
you think it had way less than what Breath of the Wild had to offer in between in the world?
No, I thought it was the exact same as Breath of the Wild. And
Yeah.
I think if you had to tell somebody to play Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, if they hadn't played either, I'd throw Tears of the Kingdom at them and say never even think about Breath of the Wild.
Look,
Don't even go near that thing with a fucking wooden spoon. It's not worth it.
my big
But
theory about those games
yeah.
is that Tears of the Kingdom was originally supposed to be a DLC. It's kind of the resembles Silk Song a little bit.
Mm.
But Tears of the Kingdom was originally a DLC idea, and I think that would have made Breath of the Wild the greatest game ever. Imagine if if there was just DLC and they could have charged $60 for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe not the 70, but it would have been a substantial DLC, a whole new game, reworking the world, retelling a whole new story.
I thought it was. I genuinely thought that Tears of the Kingdom was just what Breath of the Wild should have been.
Yeah. I think that
That's how I saw it. But it didn't actually innovate on anything, which was shocking. That was shocking to me.
yeah. I mean
Like,
outside of what
Tears
the
of the
Ultra
Kingdom
Hand stuff.
was, yeah, but Tears of the Kingdom was, honestly, Ultra Hand, I thought that was actually fascinating, and it wasn't done to the extent that it could have been.
Yeah.
Like that, it could have gone so much further with a bit more broader limitations, but I understand why they limited it in such a way because of the hardware restrictions of the Switch. But Breath of the Wild was a total, complete innovation on the Legend of Zelda game
Yeah.
world.
And gaming in
Like
general.
a total reinventing of the open world genre in a way that was really interesting and still surprisingly barren.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild was not chock full of stuff, and something that it absolutely could have fixed, without question, is actual dungeons.
Yeah.
And Tears
No,
of the
definitely.
Kingdom so nearly had that, but it also missed the mark. Dungeons are what made Zelda fascinating. These strange labyrinths that had this interesting combination of puzzles and enemies that were thought provoking and unique just made the games amazing. And Tears of the Kingdom was so close to being able to do that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was this one endless loop of, oh, that looks interesting. And as you're walking towards the interesting thing, getting distracted by something that was totally menial
Yeah.
in the meantime, and then not going for the thing you were interested in.
Yeah, and that does it didn't repeat well in Tears. That was the same thing in
Yeah,
Tears
because
again.
you're right. It was an endless repetition
Yeah.
of all the stuff that would happen in Breath of the Wild. But
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, when you saw something, you just went there.
The best thing, I mean, the coolest thing about Tears was though that at least like when you went somewhere, you're like, oh, like I'm gonna go here because I know what's here, and then you're like, oh wait, they flipped it on me. Like like that was like at least the coolest thing about some of the spots in Tears. Like I remember the first time I got down to Hyrule Field in Tears, and I went straight for the wetlands, and I was like, let me get some durian fruit or whatever that was. The hardy durian. I went straight there, and then they just had a whole the piles of the hands and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my god, what the hell are these? And then I found out there's
Terrifying.
no fruit in the game, and I'm like, are you serious? Like,
Yeah, there's no durians.
yeah.
Because it was broken. It was
Yeah.
totally
No, it
unbalanced and
was.
broken. I don't know. I felt like Tears of the Kingdom had the opportunity to completely innovate on all the things that Breath of the Wild was missing, but what it did was it instead just made all the things Breath of the Wild had, but more.
Yeah. Yep.
It didn't take any of the things it was missing and add them in. It just made it more. So you're totally right. It was just a DLC.
But you know what took Breath of the Wild and innovated? Elden Ring. I finally played Elden Ring last year, and I'm like, wow, I kind of understand it now. I avoided
I
that game
think
for a while.
It's so strange. I put more time into Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild than I did in Elden Ring
Really?
by like 3 times.
Wow.
Because in fairness,
I
that's
probably did
600
too.
hours versus 200
Yeah, I
hours.
probably did too. I probably put about 400 into Breath of the Wild, and I definitely put about 200 into Tears.
Yeah, I've only put 200 into Elden Ring, and
Yeah, I'm the same.
while that's enough to get every achievement in the game, it's not. I don't know. It wasn't fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
Were you?
I played through the entirety of the game as a close range roll big ass sword melee class, which is like pinnacle Dark Souls. And I got to the very end and I finished it and was like, nice. We got through it. Challenge complete. What now? And then it just sort of became this really strangely hollow experience that I've not been able to enjoy again.
Really?
It's really strange. Yeah, it's really, really strange because I've gone through several different like builds, playing as totally different character types. Um, I've been playing with different elements. I played multiplayer and single player alike. I've like multiplayer is in the seamless co-op mod, which I put a significant amount of time into, and I enjoyed that a lot. But it was so hollow.
Yeah, I
It's
pushed
really
through.
strange.
I pushed through and got to the very last boss fight. I guess like the Elden Lord or whatever.
Radagon,
Yeah, yeah, the guy, and then it turns into the big dinosaur or whatever.
Elden
Like, yeah,
Beast.
yeah, the Elden Beast. Yeah, I got there, and I haven't beat that fight yet, right? And then I just put the game down. Um,
Hmm.
and I never played the DLC, but that was my first like Souls-like game. And I
Yeah,
had
same.
really okay. Hey, so you gone back and tried to play anything other ones like any Dark Souls or anything?
No, but I was told that Dark Souls 3 is like peak.
Peak. Okay, yeah,
And I do own Dark Souls 3.
I've been
I own
playing
it.
Dark
I've got
Souls
it.
1 now, and I've been pushing through in that game, and I really like it. But I like go back and forth with these Souls games so much. Like I really like them, but they also like they kind of drive me crazy. Like, and they're just so easy for me to like put down and be like, okay, I'm good. Like I don't need that anxiety. But then once I get back into it, it's like it's so satisfying to like beat
Immersive.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. I think it is. It's purely a challenge.
yeah. No, that's it. Yeah.
Its whole shtick is just a challenge. And yeah, man, I'm at a loss. A total loss. I was also super hyped for a game called Another Crab's Treasure. Did you see anything about that?
I've been playing through that game. That's another game that's like it's another Souls-like game to me where I'm not like the greatest with them, and so it's like I play it and then I put it down and then I get somewhere and then a
Because
boss.
what are your thoughts right now? I'm so off-putted by the story.
Um, yeah, I mean,
I hate the characters. I hate them.
I don't hate them necessarily, but I mean, I guess I'm like I appreciate the whole Souls structure within like a dumb cartoony game. Like that's it's kind of my whole vibe. Like I miss like the Xbox like or like the that generation like Xbox, GameCube, PS2. I miss like the dumb cartoony games that were like just ridiculous. Like there's this one game I always think about. It's called Whiplash, and you're just like two animals that are chained together, and your whole point is like you're like being tested on in this like factory, and your whole point is just to destroy the factory as much as possible.
Right, right.
And like I'm like, man, this era of gaming, like we really missed out. Like it really just jumped up to Call of Duty. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier too. But so Another Crab's Treasure really reminds me of that. But like, yeah, like the story isn't hooking me or anything, no pun intended. But like, it's like,
Dude, I wish it was. I fucking wish. Or at the very least, I wish characters didn't speak with actual voices. It's so
yeah,
strange to want characters not to be voice acted, or rather, don't fucking speak.
yeah. It could
There
have
was
done.
so much like joy and interest in like there being one or two characters that actually spoke in Another Crab's Treasure, and I thought it was so punny and clever and witty. And I was like the one person that I could speak to. I was like, oh my god, there's actually a person I can talk to. And you spoke to them, and they were like, it was clever, it was witty, it was well written. And now there's just an abundance of characters, and I could not care less about any of them.
Yeah.
I've no reason to give a shit.
Yeah, I definitely kind of like stopped paying attention to what's going on. Like now that I've like gotten to that town and stuff, and there's like the whole treasure hunt going on or whatever, and
It just feels like everything's trying to get my attention in a very like, hey, look at me, I'm interesting, and it's like nice, cool. I would much rather if every single one of you shut up.
yeah,
I want to have like a very select small group of people that I have a reason to give a damn about. Like the urchin that gives you your spells.
yeah,
If they were the only person that spoke to me, and then like one or two other guys total throughout the entirety of the game, I'd probably give a damn about what they had to say.
yeah. They definitely could have took from Dark Souls in that sense of like just letting the world kind of tell its story more.
They had that in the demo.
Yeah,
It was such a
yeah. They
good
did add
fucking
voice
demo.
acting. Okay, I never played the demo.
Dude, oh man, I loved the demo so much because it was raw Souls-like with a really interesting and cute twist, and then they fucking butchered it. If there was a setting in the game to turn off all story, I would.
I say damn near might be. There's some of those games just add so many settings now. Isn't there like the gun you can just turn
Yeah,
on
there's
if you
there's
want?
a, there's a assist mode gun. Yeah, I remember they put that in there. I thought that was a really funny meme.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, the most happy I got in the game was when I slogged through the beginning of it in this area that seemed way too big, and like I had this grappling hook that would let me go to different areas, but it was limited in the number of times I could use it. So I was like, fuck, do I waste it on trying to get around? Or do I use it on combat? And I'm finding shells that are not really that interesting, nor are they that unique. And like it was, yeah, just suddenly the world expanded to being way too big, and everyone's talking to me. Everyone has voice lines and the whole thing, and I'm an important character now, and you should care about me, as opposed to it just being here's a guy with a lance who wants to fuck you up for
Yeah.
no good reason. Like I would much rather that be a thing other than hey, I'm in a vending machine, and oh, that's his vending machine. I should probably worry about that. Like I don't care, and I was so excited when after I'd have to deal with all that shit suddenly everyone's gone. And it's dark and grey. There's not a character in sight. There's one person that's still alive and they're shivering and unable to talk to you. And I was like, yes, this is the dark setting I was after. Which is literally like the first castle area.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed in, and then you beat the other guy, and suddenly it's desolate. And then there's this one chick with this who's gone completely crazy. Like she's gone mad. And she's got this massive fucking like tea strainer that she's using as this massive mace, and I'm like, dude, this is the coolest shit ever. Holy fuck. And then immediately characters are talking to me again. I'm like, god damn it. You had a good thing going, and then you shat on it.
Yeah.
Like fuck. It was so desolate and so spooky and atmospheric, and I was totally sucked into the world that you had. And then you fucking reverted it all immediately. I don't care about the Michael Reeves shark. You know the shark guy, the like the loan shark. He's voiced
Yeah.
by Michael Reeves.
Really? I don't know who Michael Reeves
Yeah.
is.
What,
Alright,
dude? I thought I lived under a rock. How do you run a podcast?
I run a Cherry Time podcast based around Hollow Knight YouTubers that comes out whenever I want it to. So it's not like a
Bro. Bro. Holy
So
shit.
Michael Reeves is a YouTuber
Yeah, he's a YouTuber. He's unhinged as fuck.
and he does the voice of the loan shark?
And he does the voice of the loan shark. He does like robotics stuff. Usually cursed robotics. Like I made a Trigger Me Elmo bot that can immediately racially profile you based on your skin tone. he makes like the most cursed shit you can fathom and does not give a shit about anything. Like he has a full degree in robotics and coding because he went to Harvard, didn't pay for any of it because he just rocked up and walked into the classes and they just kept lecturing. Because that's how it actually works in the real world. You don't need a reason to go into a university. There are too many students and they don't give a damn. So you just rock up and listen and you get free lectures. But yeah, fuck. Dude, what the hell? How do you not know who Michael Reeves is?
You know, I'm not the most well versed in YouTubers, to be honest. I know who I know, but
dude, bro, that blows my mind. The world is huge.
Yeah,
it is so big. I have lived in an echo chamber and a bubble for way too long. I need to expand my horizons and find more people that have not played Minecraft yet. Who aren't like 3.
Yeah, I kind of like refuse to play Minecraft. It's same with Fortnite.
It's like on principle.
Yeah, I've pushed through so long without playing certain things. Like I'm good on good on Fortnite. I'm not gonna play Marvel Rivals now either.
Respect that. You know, I can totally respect that. And like a genuine respect. Of being like, you know what, fuck the mainstream, get the hell out of here. I'm gonna do my own thing. Here's what everyone else is talking about and doing. I totally vibe with that.
It's not even like that too, because I feel like I'm the most typical person in the world. Like I feel like I'm the most average consumer. But when everybody latches onto something before me, it's like, all right, like, you know, like I'm good, like
bro.
Or when it's already dead by the time, not dead, but when it's already been like oversaturated by the time I find it. That's when I'm like, all right. But Minecraft, you know, my Discord begs me to play it. I might have to try it one day, just to play with them. And
I think it's actually a really hard game to play through and really enjoy because it actually requires creativity from you.
Yeah. No, and I appreciate that.
Constant.
I enjoy, like, you know, those, you know, I do really enjoy certain games like that, but I also like get too into them too. Like when you know, like Animal Crossing brought me back into gaming, and then like being able to like design the island and stuff, and then I like got into Stardew. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I like love making the, you know, the farms and stuff like that. It's like, but you know, a lot of that stuff is limited to where Minecraft does seem like, oh my god, it's like all those games, but it's like it's just endless. That, you know, just building and
that's what I mean by it forces creativity out of you.
Yeah.
You are not forced to do anything in Minecraft. Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, both very, very quickly hold your hand, tell you what's up, what the game's about, how you're supposed to play it. Minecraft does none of that shit at all.
Yeah.
It is the definition of sandbox, and it holds literally infinite potential for fun. But that's also way too much potential for a human being. And for a human mind. They don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It's too hard. So, like, if your goal is to make a really fucking cool base, and you make the cool base, now you have to look for something else to do, otherwise the game has nothing to offer you.
Yeah.
It is a pure sandbox game. Like, you can even try and beat the game as Minecraft is, you know, sort of structured. And even that leads to, okay, so what now? And it won't tell you what to do. Ever. It's just this relentless... just relentlessly asks you to come up with your own entertainment. And it facilitates a world where it's totally possible. All of it. Which, it too much.
Yeah.
I have to like sit down with a fucking planning notepad to play Minecraft.
See, now I'm interested to know what like the actual like base game of Minecraft is. Like, if
there is no base game.
Well, you said you could beat it. Like, what's beating Minecraft?
There's a dragon at the end.
Okay, so there's like a boss fight type thing.
Yes, and that's it.
Okay. All right.
That is it. And even that, to most, is considered the tutorial. Because once you have access, once you've beaten that dragon, you now have access to, like, infinite of everything. That's like infinite diamonds, infinite experience, infinite crafting, an infinite void that you can fall into and die, or kill things into, or kill things with, etc. Excuse me, fuck. But
It's
like,
like the
it's,
start of the game for some people.
I think for those who play Minecraft, not just to tick a box, which is did you beat game? Yeah, it's the beginning.
Yeah. See, and I love that about certain games. That's like what really got me into like Borderlands is kind of one of my first experiences, and like the end of the game being kind of like the
The
start of the
beginning,
game.
yeah, yeah. But those games are all structured. Like
Yeah.
Stardew and Borderlands
Yeah.
are all structured. You have a corridor to walk down, and you can choose which side of the corridor you want to go onto. You can choose what pattern you do and how fast, and whether or not you open a couple of doors and walk through and then come back to the corridor to progress the storyline. Minecraft does not have a corridor.
Yeah.
It's an infinite space. There is too much potential. There are no limitations, and that fucks with my head.
Yeah. I know it's
It,
definitely not for me, like
yeah,
that's like a
it is
challenge
also
run.
not for me. I feel like it's exhausting to play Minecraft. I did
Yeah.
have like a whole video idea crafted specifically in Minecraft that was like, I'm gonna take all my friends that I've got that aren't massive on Minecraft or who haven't even beaten the game yet, and we're gonna slowly play through the game and just keep finding projects to do. So we keep finding a problem that we've got, then it's the project to solve the problem, and it creates more projects in of itself. Like, okay, the problem is we don't have a house. All right, solution, build a house. What are we building it out of? Wood. We don't have enough wood. Time to cut down some trees. Still not enough trees. Make a tree farm. What do we need for a tree farm? We need redstone. It's this endless roadmap that you end up going down. And when you're all working on it together, it's still an endless roadmap to go down. It's crazy. It's actually insane. And it doesn't end. There is no ending, which
Wow.
is exhausting. I can't. Yeah, I cannot. I cannot get it. I'm almost willing to try out this Another Crab's Treasure because we were talking about it for so long.
I
And now
just I just saw that it's on sale on Switch, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll like it playing it in bed better.
I don't even know. I don't know. I'm looking at the store page and it's got really, really positive reviews. I just do not know how people are managing with this terrible story. I'm hoping the story just stops being about the story and becomes about something else.
I've been able to kind of ignore the story. There's some games that I like care about the story. There's some games that I don't. And I'm
Whoa,
typically
why is it so fucking much? Holy shit, it's 45 Australian dollars.
what? Damn.
What the hell?
Yeah, that seems crazy.
Bro, I'm poor. I got nothing. Dude, yeah, I cannot deal with these endless dialogues. Fuck. I want a game that can make me interested in its characters without there being relentless lines of dialogue and without them needing to speak.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's
Anyways,
hard. It's hard
do
for
we have
me.
anything left in this podcast to talk about? I feel like we've just sort of immediately gone off track.
Yeah, it does kind of
Not
just
that there
turn
was a
into
track, actually. I feel like there wasn't any rails to derail from.
Yeah. No, I mean I pretty much hit the end. Yeah, it could have ended at any point. I've just been kind of vibing at this point.
Bro, we vibing. That's what's happening. What time is it for you?
It is 8:59 p.m.
Damn. What
Yeah.
happens after this? Food? And then sleep?
I gotta walk my dog. Gotta
Goddamn.
take him for another walk. Cause I got a big old Pyrenees dog, a big old fluffy dog, and he hates being in the hot apartment because it's winter for us.
You got you a floofer goober.
Yeah. He's a big old wolf named Banana.
Banana.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna walk, and then I'll probably eat. I might try to play something. I was thinking about maybe trying to do like a late night stream tonight, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just wake up and do one tomorrow. I haven't streamed in a while.
Bro, I'll join you if you want to do a late night stream. I'll be in chat.
Hell yeah.
That'll be annoying. That's my goal.
Trying to think.
I have a goal for today.
Trying to think if I should do some Celeste B-sides or
Yes.
what.
Yes, you fucking should.
My chat really wants me to go back to working on P5.
Do both.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
The way you do P5 is you just do the Hall of Gods.
That's what I've been doing. I've been
You go Radiant everybody.
Yeah, I've been radiating everybody. I got like probably, a good 40-50% of them done, but it's like, of course all the easy ones, but
who are you dying to in the Pantheon itself? Is it just random?
Yeah, it's kind of random. I haven't done P5 in a while cuz I've been trying to also do the bindings. I've been trying to earn, to get some lifeblood throughout P5. I haven't done any binding.
The Weathered Mask achievement at the very end when you get all 4 on every single Pantheon. That's fucked. I love the Land of Storms. It's a secret area that you get to go to once you do unlock all the bindings. It's actually fucking sick.
I don't know if I'm
gonna
be able to
go
do
there
it
once.
I can't even do P1 with like one binding on yet.
You can, bro.
I know. I know.
You gotta be patient. You need a lot of time to do the bindings. Like it's just a slog. That's all you're up against.
Yeah. I know. It was like I did P4 on live and that took me like weeks, to be honest. And everyone was just grilling me for doing Pure Vessel bad, and then I finally started doing it good, learn how to fight him better, and we got it. It's funny. I had to get off stream. Like I was doing it like every night in a row for a while, and then like one morning I'm like, let me just record myself, and I did it in like 3 tries. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm like, so maybe streaming isn't for me, but I'm gonna keep doing it.
I'm gonna keep doing it.
But yeah, this was a great episode. This is officially the longest episode of Cherry Time ever.
Whoops.
No, it's fine.
#Yap Central.
Yeah. I might just end up giving people some clips of it too if they want to listen to different sections, but yeah, thank you for
if you want to listen to us yapping for 6 months straight, got you covered.
Yeah. This is a great one. I appreciate you for coming on. I think this is episode 7.
Everybody go play Sheepy.
Sheepy.
It's free and small and fun.
It's my new most anticipated game right there.
You hear that? It's Corey's most anticipated game. That means it's important. I'm gonna go have lamingtons. That's what I'm gonna do.
Hell yeah.
And play Monster Hunter or web fishing.
Web fishing, that's a game I want to try too. I've been hearing about that. Can't wait to get a damn PC.
So chill. It's so chill.
Yeah,
it's good that it's on PC. It totally tracks that it's a PC game.
Yeah.
Would not translate to console. It's a chat room, so having a keyboard handy is a big thing. That's what the game is. It's not a fishing game. It's a chat room game.
One last game I want to talk about before we go, just real quick. Have you heard of that Big Catch indie game that's coming out this year?
No, what the fuck?
Okay.
Do I Google this?
Yeah, hold on. There's more to the name. No, The Big Catch. Watch the trailer for The Big Catch. This game looks like it's gonna be amazing, and it might be. No, it is.
Oh, that art style.
Yeah, no, it's.
Oh, what the?
Yeah.
Yo, the movement is nuts. What the fuck?
Yeah.
A 3D movement platformer about fishing with a badass fucking rabbit character? What the hell?
This is my real most anticipated game besides Soulslike right now.
Bro, what the fuck? You just got this on my radar. Holy shit. The Big Catch. Holy shit. Add to my wish list. Yoinkity splinkity. Give me that shit. Okay, and I've got one trade for you then. Game that I'm anticipating a shitload of and have not. It's not out yet. Haste.
Haste. All right, looking that up.
It's literally definition of game. Fucking book it.
Haste, Broken Worlds.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen this. I think there's a video I seen that was talking about The Big Catch, and they were talking about this just of like upcoming indie games.
Yep, there's the devs probably talking about the game.
Yeah, I feel like there's a few of these like damn near like Sonic inspired games that are like starting to come out that are like
Haste sort of feels like it's almost a mobile game. It's so simple. It's just go fast, and I'm so curious to see what they do. Either like procedurally generated, so you can get levels go infinitely, or what they do if they're actually like crafting levels to do things.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know how they're gonna cover it. I don't know how they're gonna do it because at that speed you need a huge world, which screams you need it to be procedurally generated. But if it's procedurally generated, how do you make the gameplay more than just go fast? Like what is the game? What's it about? Is there a style meter like Ultra Kill? That'd be fucking sick.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways they gotta.
I'm so hyped for this fucking big catch game. What the hell is this?
Yeah. Now I'm wondering, like, I don't know, because there's this other thing, the big catch tackle box. I don't know if that's the one that. I don't think this is a sequel. And they're saying that it's not out yet.
All right, shit. Hang on. We said we were gonna wrap up this episode.
Yeah,
we've been yapping for too fucking long.
I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna edit this somehow. Thank you so much, WINDETTE, for being on Cherry Time episode 7.
You're very welcome. We finally got it to happen after like 6 months of it not.
Yeah, yeah, just a month, but it felt like 6 months. I that's why I said I'm like, yeah, if we don't do it now, we're gonna catch a break.
I got no fucking concept of time. Game's too hard. Living is too difficult.
Yeah, feel that. But thank you again. Thank you to anybody who's listening still now, if it's 2 hours and 40 minutes or however long it ends up being. Thank you all for listening. We
Catch us
appreciate
on the flip side. Sub to Corey.
Thank you.
Well, you probably already are because you're watching this on theirs.
So sub to WINDETTE if you happen to be watching my channel.
Do not. Under any circumstances, do not.
No, do.
Yeah.
But thank
catch
you
us on
all
the
for
flip side,
listening. You all have a good one. And see ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.